All right, here we go. Let me just refresh my screen here real quick. So we do have PayPal earnings are already out. The call is going to be at 7 o'clock. So we've got about 40 minutes to digest the information. I'm just refreshing it on my screen right now to pull up. Let me pull up the presentation here. I'll bring it over. 1 second real quick. And let me just see let me switch out of this real quick. I don't like the dark mode on this part. All right, can everybody hear me? Let me just make sure I'm up and running here too. Getting a little bit of a late start. Oh, let me kill that. 1 second. All right, there we go. All right, so the stock is down about 1.33%. Let's look at some of the highlights here. So, and let me actually go over here real quick first. So it looks like they had missed some of their, I don't know if it's guidance revision lower or what. 1 second. Here. So unprepared. Wakey. Hopefully I got the right stream going here. Let me just refresh real quick and make sure it's working. 1 second. I think he forgot about the time frame. All right, can somebody comment in chat real quick? I'm trying to make sure that Restream is working correctly. Oh, there we go. All right, cool. Yeah. X is up at least. Okay. All right, thank you very much. Let me just look here real quick. Just going to see what the highlights are. PayPal reports Q3 results. Total payment volume, 422 million. Year-over-year growth of 9%. Revenue up 6%. Transaction margin up 8% year-over-year. Interest on customer balances up 6%. Non-GAAP EPS up 22%. Free cash flow up 31%. SoFi did outstanding on their earnings, and their guidance has increased as well. Awesome. Congrats to everybody on SoFi. So it looks like if you look over in the bottom corner, you'll see that I actually have PayPal earnings, the PayPal ticker up. Right now it's down about 1.36% on the day. Let's jump over here and look at earnings. I'm going to let this do the reading real quick. 1 second while I drink some coffee. Let me jump over here. All right, 1 sec, guys. And this is going to pull it up, I think, in another PDF too. So give me 1 second here. While this refreshes. All right, there we go. Start down here.
Building foundation for durable, profitable growth, strong 3Q and YTD results. Continued quality TMS growth benefiting from interest income, branded checkout, Venmo, Braintree, and tech-led risk. Loss improvements focusing on best-in-class checkout to optimize conversion. Beginning to ramp Fastlane and improved branded experiences in the U.S. Partnering across the ecosystem to unlock value for our customers. Launched PayPal Everywhere. Focused on driving consumer momentum with MAA growth. Raising FY24 guidance for TMS and non-GAAP EP, while reinvesting into growth initiatives. Strengthening PayPal's leading global commerce platform. Your pay safe everywhere, pal. NASDAQ, every payment, everywhere, every time.
Wow, it reads all of it. All right, driving end-to-end conversion with upgraded brand checkout, express checkout, vaulting, recurring payments. Cool. New partnerships, making it easier than ever. Let's just go down here. Active accounts, 1% year-over-year growth. Monthly active accounts, 2% year-over-year growth. Number of payment transactions, 6%. Transactions per active account, up 9%. TPA x PSP on branded card growth, up 5%. Branded checkout. Let's just look over here too. And I'll try and look at comments too. I'm not really interested in talking about SoFi right now since we're focused on PayPal. The machine said, good morning, everyone. I can't believe I'm up this early. I think PayPal is going up at least 5 to 7%. Well, I mean, right now it's down 2. So I don't know if that's true. But let's look over here because, again, earnings are out. TPV mix across PayPal's payments platform. Let's see here real quick. Transaction growth, percentage of total. Branded checkout is up 6%. and 27% of total. So that's pretty much still on par. PSP unbranded card processing was 11%, 36% of total. Venmo was 8%, so Venmo hasn't changed. Peer-to-peer X Venmo is 5%. Ooh, that's interesting. Peer-to-peer X Venmo. What is that all covering? Other merchant services is seeing growth, and eBay volume is 3%. But again, it's eBay's kind of slowly dying. PSP unbranded card processing is going down too, even though it is growth. It's slower growth. Total TPV. So I think this is what's killing us. So Q3 was 13%. Q2 prior quarter was 11, and then Q3 2024 is 9. Maybe. Key financial results. Total revenue 7.8 billion. Let's jump back and forth here. So 7.8 billion. Let's go back to quarterly. So the thing that astonishes me right now, honestly, is that if we look at yearly growth, like this stock is currently priced at 2018 levels when it was about half the transaction revenue of what it is now, about half the net income, about half the and a little more than half the accounts. So it's just a substantially better company right now, in my opinion, than what it was. Hey, Jesse, I would like to give you that information. The person duplicate your account to scam people. Yeah, there's a bunch. There's so many. I can't keep up with it, Blue Roots. Every time I submit something to get rid of one scam account, there's just more that come up. Let me look at guidance. I care most about that. Revenue, low single-digit growth reflects impact from price to value strategy. This is what's probably killing us right now. So Q4 says low single-digit growth reflects impact from price to value strategy and prioritization of profitable growth. So this is their branded checkout and all that stuff. That's what's killing them there. Transaction margin for full year, it says mid-single-digit growth, prior low to mid-single-digit. So this is looking better for transaction margin for full year guidance. Non-GAAP effective tax rate approximately 21%, whatever. Non-GAAP non-transaction operating expenses low single-digit, prior slight increase. Non-GAAP EPS low to mid single-digit decrease. Approximately 1.07 to 1.11 reflects elevated marketing spend to support key initiatives and new products. So really, it looks like they're focusing on branded growth. It looks like they're focusing on marketing to be able to increase growth, and that is why we're seeing lower numbers today. GAAP EPS approximately 1.03, 1.07, implied prior 1.05. Let's look over here. So full year guidance on non-GAAP effective tax rate is down 1%. Non-GAAP EPS, high teens growth, low to mid teens target. So that's good. GAAP EPS approximately 3.92 to 3.96, prior approximately 3.88 to 3.98. So the low end of that went up a little bit. Free cash flow approximately $6 billion, no change for prior year. Share repurchase $6 billion, no change from prior. Let's see here. So I'm just going to see what other people are saying online. And then again, we have the call in 30 minutes. Let's look. I am curious about SoFi, though. Let's hop over there real quick and just see what they're sitting at today. So again, stock down 2.5% on the day. SoFi up 6%. So they're getting a boost, and they're above the next fib line. What are they sitting at? So they're sitting at the prior high over here, July of 2023. So it looks like they're going to be hitting price points they haven't seen since March of 2022. So SoFi is definitely having a good day today. Let's hop over, though, and look at PayPal and what CleanSpark. Yeah, dude, Bitcoin is going to be really good today, too. Let's take a look at that super fast. So Bitcoin hitting 71.3, up 2% on the day. There's sounds of additional Chinese stimulus in the $1.3 trillion range. I think that's going to help boost markets a lot. It might even help PayPal, and we'll see how the earnings call goes today too. I think the earnings call should go well, but we'll see what mood the CFO and Alex Chris are in. So, but yeah, Bitcoin's going to be a rocket ship to the moon. I have no doubt of that today. Let's see what others are saying, though, on PayPal. I do like they seem to be giving a little more thorough analysis too, which I dig. PayPal with 90 million miss in revenue, but sizable beat on EPS and raise of guidance. Free cash flow looks very good. Mixed but decent quarter. Just not as good as I was hoping on the surface. Looking forward to the details here in the call. Yeah, me too. I think that's a pretty good analysis here. So I think the big thing is they're really trying to grow their branded checkout and they're trying to consolidate. And so it's a miss on revenue, and that's going to be, I don't know what that's going to do with the narrative over the short term, or if people are going to look past it. I think the call is really dependent on how we proceed forward. Paul, CleanSpark was around $22 last time with BTC at 72. ARG, but no, yeah, you can't look at it that way. They dilute shares. So miners do best when we're at a peak. So you can't look at it that way at all. You can't be like, oh, last time we were at this level, it was at this level. Well, did they dilute share value since then? If so, that will make the price lower. Also, is Bitcoin just taking off, or has it been running hard? If it's been running hard, you'll actually see that people are doing a lot better. Miners are doing a lot better. So it's the multiplier kicks in later. So you have to look at it that way. What are you guys testing? All right, so down 3.7%. So the market is not liking, down 4% now. The market is not liking PayPal earnings now that volume is starting to kick in. So that sucks. Got a lot of money in this one, so I'm bummed to see it. But I still believe that these guys are going to do good, and I still believe that Q4 that they're going to do good heading into next year. I think this though is the death to those January 2025 calls. They're toast. They're over. There's no hope for them. So if you have some, just say goodbye. Let's take a look over here real quick. Just trying to see if there's anything else. Free cash flow looks good. Yeah, that was some. Let's see what else we got here. It's a bummer too, because just like Jason said over here, the volume shelf is beautiful on PayPal right now. So I do think that even though it's taken a hit right now, I think it'll be short-lived, especially if the call is good. But I don't think we're going to get like a major breakout here in the next several weeks. This will probably be a drag on the stock. The narrative will move. There's so many other things going up right now. So it'll probably be a drag on the stock and keep it down for a bit. I think that's pretty inevitable. Let me look real quickly. I'm going to go over to the stock market heat map and just see how the rest of the stuff is doing today. Oh, didn't want to pull it up down there. Let me move it over. All right, keep that down. Go to pre-market. All right. So Chinese crap, as you can see, is doing good today. Again, stimulus. Actually, Tesla's even looking up, and it was down a little bit. So that's looking pretty good too. Not too crazy in market action though. Nothing too interesting to look at there. Let me hop over to and see what CNBC is doing. Yeah, you know what I should do? I should actually go over here. I want to look at the watch list and see how it's performing. Yeah, Bitcoin's just going to break out. I think it's going to be pretty boring with PayPal this morning, as it just hangs out in negative territory. But I think what you'll see, I can't get the watch list. I forgot. I got to go over here real quick. Let me do this. Pull this down. Sort by extended hours. See what's rocking and rolling. MicroStrategy's still doing really good on the big screen here. I mean, look at that. BITF, look at that. Bitfarms, again, up another 6%. Iron up another 5%. ETH up 4.87. CleanSpark up 4.46. SoFi up 4.83. Riot up. I mean, even Baba is up today. That says a lot. Hood is up another 1.65%. That's good. That'll offset some losses in PayPal. And Tesla's up on the day. What is not up? PayPal. Of course. Of course. The pain is not over for PayPal. It is still PayPal, at least for now. All right, in 25 minutes until the call starts. Let me get caught up on chat real quick here. Mr. Monkey says, I know, Mike. I was like, oh my God, when market opens, CleanSpark is gonna be zero on last Monday, but I was overly dramatic, it seems. Paul, and good morning. What's the coffee mug of the day? Coffee mug of the day is Red Dragon. So that's the one of today. I need more coffee in it, though. I'm already out. It's bumming me out. And I'm up early, so I'm struggling. Do you think FTX pays out will be put back into Bitcoin? Yeah, you'd have to be nuts not to. Jesse Franklin. Alex Garcia, sup everybody from Spain. Joe Schmo, testing. Again, not sure what testing. Paul, thanks for explaining. Robert, time for January 2026 calls. Let's go. Yeah, 2025 is our toast. Mike Shumati or Shumate, everyone is getting on BTC money shift. Oh, yeah, Bitcoin's definitely going up. Bitcoin's 71.5 right now. Look at this. Maybe I should switch over to that ticker in the bottom left. It looks less, or bottom right. It looks less depressing. Mike Shumate, or no, Mr. Monkeys, for SoFi, Robert, master the game. Any thoughts on Square? I think Square's a good company. Jack Dorsey has his issues. He's jumped in and gotten a lot more involved in Square, and they seem to be doing better. They're definitely kind of a stealthy Bitcoin play, but I like them. Let's see here. Christopher Brown, good morning, all. Any thoughts on when I should start taking profits on MicroStrategy? It's up to you, man. I mean, Bitcoin's getting ready to fly to 92,000, so you do you. Robert, no pain pal. Yeah, right. Brennan Shep, go miners. Uphill market. SoFi reported amazing numbers. Wow. Yeah, they did. It looks like they're up 4 or 5% today. Nothing too crazy, but they've also had a really good run. And they're reaching kind of that peak point where I talked about before, where they're going to start hitting resistance. Where is SoFi right now? SoFi's only up 1.7%. So there must be something in that earnings that people aren't liking again, or they're just playing with it. Master the game. I got money back from BlockFi. Smash bought BTC. Awesome, man. I'm glad to see more people getting money back from these old exchanges. Johnny Cash, ETH popping. That must be a leverage play on Ethereum. Joe Schmo 62. I'm new to X. I'm from YouTube. Just subscribed here. Heinz in. All right. Well, thanks for coming, man. MTN off grid. Thoughts on TMDX? I don't know what it is. We could probably look at it later. Manuel K. Heard a few things around Snowflake stock being interesting level. What do you think? I mean, I don't know. Maybe. Let's look over here at Snowflake, right? So Snowflake is a very different company. Let me pull this up. There we go. So the thing I don't like about Snowflake, their ability to burn money. So it's great to grow revenue. That's amazing. But when you grow 868 million in revenue and then you burn 316, it sucks. The cash flow is like, again, positive-ish. They've got bonds bringing in some revenue. Research and development is definitely strong for this one, and I don't hate that. But they're diluting shares. They're still growing. They have a forward PE of 139. They're no Palantir. So I'm not super interested in a company like this. Todd Gleason, I only have PayPal 2025 calls. They're low 70s strikes, so great. But do you foresee any good entries for 2026? I mean, today is probably a good entry. Today's probably a better entry, right? But there's the 3-day rule too, so you probably want to hold off a little bit. Boy, Bitcoin looks ready to break out. Jeez. Such a beautiful thing on Bitcoin right now. Trump's stock is up 255%. Yeah, it's a shit stock, though. Truth Social is just a garbage social media platform. It's really just people getting excited about Trump. Seymour Sats. Did you see Brian Donalds destroy Andrew Sorkin live on CNBC? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. And that's not hard to do. Andrew's kind of an idiot. SoFi actually popping. Yes, 4.2%. So it looks like it's come back again. It was chopping around for a little bit there. But they did get good earnings. Now it's 3.84. It's very volatile this morning. And then let's see, how are we doing on SoFi? Or PayPal. Ow. 5.73%. I was in profits briefly yesterday, and that's all gone. So we'll see how this call goes in 20 minutes. I'm actually going to get some coffee before that call. I'm going to throw you guys real quickly into CNBC this morning if it happens. I'll wait until there's a moment. Or maybe rewind. One of the two. I'll wait a sec. Oh, there we go. We got some talking about the energy markets. I'm going to get more coffee before this call kicks off. So give me a second.
1.3% back to 68.27. Brent's at 72.35. For more on what's been happening with oil prices and what you can expect next, we want to bring in Don Striven, who is Goldman Sachs co-head of Global Commodities Research. And I'm sorry, it's Stroyan. Don, let's talk a little bit about what happened yesterday. We saw Israel counterstrike on Iran. It did not include some of those oil facilities that had been anticipated, maybe what drove prices up. Is this a good reflection of where you think prices should be at this point?
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I think indeed the sharp sell-off yesterday, which was actually the biggest daily move since 2022, really reflected that oil assets and nuclear assets were spared, that the U.S. got a advance notification, and that the response from Iran's supreme leader was quite measured. From here, we see some modest upside risk to oil prices. We have Brent in the high 70s, mid to high 70s for the remainder
Risk
of the year.
You think prices come down from here?
In the short term, we think the most likely direction of travel for oil prices is higher. Number one, valuation and positioning are both in the bottom 10% of the historical distribution, in sharp contrast with equities or credit, for that matter. Second, at these very, fairly low price levels compared to fundamentals, we think sort of $8 per barrel too cheap relative to the level of inventories. We see demand from the US SPR, from airlines who buy cheaper oil in advance. And finally, at this point, the geopolitical risk premium is very, very small. So I think the risks are, in the short term, skewed somewhat to the upside. That said, looking out further, the market is already very focused on the risks of oversupply in 2025.
Sure. So let me talk through and take the other side of some of those arguments you just brought up. First of all, geopolitical risk potentially down, but there's a chance that Israel could come back with a second strike after the U.S. election, particularly depending on how that election is decided.
Yes, so at a very high level, I think that geopolitical uncertainty remains quite elevated. You have the U.S. elections. The conflict in the Middle East doesn't seem fully resolved, and oil markets at this point are only pricing in a very small probability of disruptions. And you don't necessarily need to see physical disruptions to see a tightening in Middle Eastern oil supply. You could also
whatever, dude. If this guy's betting long on oil, he's pretty stupid. PayPal beat on EPS, but that didn't mean shit. So it's down 6.3% in pre-market. So it's just getting butchered today. We'll see how the call goes, but yeah, not a super great day for PayPal. Let me switch it to the 4-hour. Maybe that'll show the pain. Wow, it really dipped. So pre-market, jeez, dude, people dropped this thing to 73. They pumped it to 86 in pre-market and then dropped it to 73. Definitely some volatility implied there. Here's the problem I have with PayPal right now. It is literally trading at levels it was in 2018, 2017. It's just ridiculous. This company does a fourth of the world's e-commerce transactions. A fourth, 25% of the world's. They've got so much data and analytics on the customers that they have. So like there is going to be a day coming soon where the profits are going to kick in based upon their initiative. It just evidently isn't today. Again, but their earnings did all right today. It's just not much else. All right, Bitcoin at 71.5 though, guys. So we're waiting on this earnings call. Let me just make sure that I am logged into it. 1 second here. But we're waiting on this earnings call. Let me just click on this. Yeah, nothing yet. Yeah, it's still just hanging. So I am waiting for that. It should be going off in 15 minutes. So we'll wait for that to happen. But outside of that, man, I don't know. We'll see what today's going to be. A weird mixed bag of nuts. Let's see what we have for economic data today too. Actually, let me hop over here real quick. And then we have the CNN Fear and Greed Index. What is that at today? I'm going to change this back to dark mode because this is just killing me. All right. 61. That is beautiful. Oh, wait. They got, let me see here. Oh, that horrible music. All right. So they're playing lobby music. So how much did this thing drop? Sorry for being all over the place. I just got to see here. Let me get this. Where's the price? Where's the price? Where's the price? Here we go. Price. So this thing pumped to like 86 and then dumped 15%. Jeez. Wow. Yeah, MST. Yeah, there's a bunch of things that are doing good today. PayPal's not one of them, but if you look over here, MSTU, MSTX, Bitfarms, CleanSpark, MicroStrategy, Iron, Ethereum, SoFi. SoFi's up 3.5%, but again, it beats being down 6.5%, so they definitely get the winner award here. What's down the worst? PayPal, of course. But we'll see. I've got a feeling this thing's going to bounce up into the conference call. I think the messaging will be better. We'll see, though. Again, there's just $6 billion in buybacks for this next. It's just this. There's too much. This company is doing too well and has too much in the way of assets and resources. And Alex Chris is too much of an executor for this thing just to continue. Oh, I've got Snowflake up here. Let me pull. For this company not to continue to do better. Let's see. Do we have the updated results in here too? Nope, still Q2. But again, just cash flow or just net income alone, 1.128 billion in the previous quarter, and then I mean they've averaged at least $1 billion a quarter. And look at the buybacks over here over time, and we're priced right now, guys, for PayPal over here when they were doing like what, a little over 14 billion in revenue for a year. This last year they did like 29. So double. Could you maybe explain what 600 million share dilution means for? It doesn't mean anything over the short term. It just means that they have authorization to be able to dilute the shares, basically add more shares, which reduces the value of them in order to be able to buy whatever they want to buy. So whether it's a company, there is not sufficient disk space to continue recording. Oh, okay. I guess I used up all my disk space. My recording is dead. No chapters today. Sorry. But yeah, so it's basically them, instead of selling Bitcoin like Cypher did, which I thought was a horrible decision, they are instead diluting the share value and making it to where the price will go lower in them. But if people are buying into that pressure, it doesn't really matter as much. Again, it makes it to where you won't necessarily see the same price. Like if it's up to Bitcoin was at 72,000, it's not going to be at the exact same price for CleanSpark that it was at that time, especially if irrational exuberance hasn't kicked in. But the share dilution is a good thing, and we want to see the company grow. They're almost the biggest Bitcoin publicly traded miner by Bitcoin mined this quarter, and they probably will be next quarter. They'll probably beat Mara, so that we want to see them be the biggest Bitcoin miner on Earth. Working on PayPal dashboard, had to finish SoFi numbers first. I have no PayPal yet, so good entry. There you go. So that'll be an opportunity. Again, I like the options contracts better than I do the stock right now. The stock can double. The options contracts can go up 10x from that. Let me see. I think they are starting. Oh, here we go. Oh, maybe they're not starting. I'll probably just leave that playing since I don't have ads running anyway. Doesn't really matter. Hopefully PayPal won't be back, but I'm ready for Wall Street. Hit me. Yeah, I think it's going to be okay. I think that this is a nice little reset on the stock. Because again, there was some divergence on the daily time frame, and that's going to be gone now. This thing's pretty much resetting to neutral. So I think this will be a good drop. Plus, if we look over here, guys, let me pull up PayPal over here on the big screen, because this is interesting. And then I'll actually probably put, well, I'll leave it there for now. But PayPal down 6.33%. So what's fascinating over here, guys? Again, this thing is trading at just insane levels. let me put this. So we hit our fourth higher high. We hit this fib right up here. Now we've retraced down, okay? It might seem kind of painful, but we have tons of volume underneath of us, and they still beat on EPS, okay? What you need to focus on, though, is all these daily gaps here, 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 here in this price action, and the fact that its previous all-time high was, I mean, right around February 2021, actually July of 2021. But again, over 3.5 years ago, conservatively. And if we look over here, let's pull this out further. The area we're trading at right now is the same as, 2017. 2017. So if we go over here and we look at revenue segments, again, just look at that. Look at the difference in this company. Look at the difference in 2017 to 2023. You're looking at an almost 200% increase in net income over that period of time. Look at the positive cash flows that this company has. They've been bringing down their operating expenses. They've been reducing the silos. Look at the buybacks in 2023. Look at how much from 2022 to 2023, how much that changed. 2024 is going to be very similar. There's only so much pressure before this thing explodes. Call to lighten the mood. Maybe they paid him too much, and that's why the revenue. No, I'm kidding. Wouldn't affect revenues, but been stuck in PayPal for 3 years. Sorry, 30 packets. Swang Wu Jian. I've been in PayPal calls for close to 1.5 years now. Yeah, me too. Those 2025s are dust. Can PayPal buy SoFi and become a bank? I don't know. I don't think they can buy SoFi. What do they have in cash right now? Let's look over here. Let me switch back to quarterly too. And they're going to be starting the call in about 7 minutes. So cash and bonds, 13, 14 billion. Debt, 9.7. So nothing crazy there. This company is cheap. This company is cheap. Forward PE of 17 is cheap. Never been on X Live. Yeah, it's all right. Some of the things I don't like about X, it seems like it's hard when you're live to go back. That's not an easy thing to pull off. Hey, Jesse, saying goodbye to my 2025s. You might as well. They're toast. They're done. The 95 strike January 2026, I think that's well in play, but those others are just gone. This will probably be a decent chunk. We'll get hit pretty good on this today in those January 2026 calls too. I guess this PDF, I don't know if there's much more to look at here. We can probably look at some of these slides. I'll probably jump over to the slides in the call. If they're not showing any, I'll jump over to the slides and we'll talk more about that. Yeah, it's gonna be quite the miracle, man, Nintendo. I think those 2025s are done, man. They're toast. They are 100% zeroed out. I don't think, unless Jesus starts parting the sea, I don't see that doing very well. Looks like on CNBC they're talking about maybe Bitcoin. Former CEA chair. What is the CEA? Excuse me. All right, let me just hop over. I want to see SoFi up 2%, so it's getting a little smoke today too. Bitcoin still sitting around, still trying to push that 71.5 mark. So Bitcoin the real winner today. And Chinese stocks, blarf. I do think, though, I think we'll see PayPal bounce out of this earnings. I still feel pretty good about that. Elon buys PayPal. No, that's never going to happen. It's not worth it for him. He's literally creating his own payment platform, and he's first principles driven, so you know that's not going to happen. He's not going to take something that was broken and that people are fixing now. He's going to build it himself. So that's just never going to be a thing. Plus PayPal. What's the market cap on PayPal? $85 billion. I don't see any acquisitions of PayPal anytime soon. And they don't need it. They got Alex Chris. When do I see $100 on PayPal? If you would have asked me that earlier in the day, I would have said by the end of the year. But now I would say early next year. You think PayPal's going to announce a Bitcoin strategy? I mean, I would love to hear that, but I think that's the last thing Alex Chris wants to do right now. He needs to prove himself with the company, and I don't want to call it a hokey strategy, but not try and implement something like that that's going to seem a lot more extreme. I just don't see him doing that. Now, Microsoft doing that, that's something I could see. I'd love to see that, actually. Seems like their shareholders are driven to have it happen, and they've got a lot of cash. Microsoft is sitting on a ton of cash. Let's look over here and see what their cash pool is. It is so much money. To them, to throw $1 billion towards Bitcoin would be nothing. It doesn't look like a lot here, but they have $57 billion in bonds and $18 billion in cash. So I could see Microsoft, just $1 billion in Bitcoin would mark a monumental shift and make the price scream higher. Boom, 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 boom. All right, 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and then we should get our earnings call. Yeah, I hate this so much. It's the same thing for every earnings call. It's this Q4, whatever. What is this thing called? I don't even know. Whatever everybody uses for earnings. It's the same thing. Oh, powered by Q4. It's the same thing. Every call. That Borders art, that's what I should be playing in the background. That one was great. Have they ever figured out who Mr. 100 is? No. I still think it's like a foreign country. It's probably somebody like over Qatar or one of these like super rich oil countries. PayPal down 6.5%. Let's just glide over here real quick and look at the rest of these. Yeah, it's all about Bitcoin today, guys. Tesla's up a little bit. PayPal, the loser of the bunch. Oh, I hate that feeling with PayPal. ARGT down too. I do have some TLT today. Maybe I'll buy some PayPal. No, probably not. I still probably have too much PayPal. I've got like over $500,000 probably even with the drop today. That's plenty for me. Yeah, it's catchy though. Stupid music. Yeah, I do think this is all right, though. I think this is probably good. Let's see, that earnings, we went up a bunch. October revenue, we missed by 0.46%. Not a huge number. I mean, reported EPS was 1.2. It's just a matter, if they would have had revenue up today, with that EPS number, this thing would have climbed hard. It would have been in the 90s. It's just the revenue miss. That's what got them. All right, we should be going live here now. It looks like they're going to show some visuals here too, I think. Yeah, I do actually agree with you on that, Ted. This is a good time to pull back. If you look here, the RSI on the weekly was in the 70s. So this is a good time to take a breather and maybe test that RSI on overbought conditions. So I agree. But you can see, again, institutional ownership just looks like it's getting ready to just explode higher. Am I using a streaming service? If so, which one? What do you mean by streaming service? Vinit? I don't know what you mean. Tesla Bull, good evening from Australia. Hope everyone will have an awesome day. I bet Alex Chris can talk up the stock. I think he can. His CFO is a badass too, dude. I love her. I can't remember her name. She's just brilliant. So she could potentially do that too.
Good morning and welcome to PayPal's third quarter 2024 earnings conference call. My name is Sarah and I will be your conference operator today. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded. I would now like to turn the program over to your host for today's conference, Steve Winokur, PayPal's Chief Investor Relations Officer. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Sarah. Welcome to PayPal's third quarter 2024 earnings call. I'm joined by CEO Alex Chris and CFO Jamie Miller. Our remarks today include forward-looking statements that involve risks and uncertainties. Actual results may differ materially from these statements. Our commentary is based on our best view of the world and our businesses as we see them today. As described in our earnings press release, SEC filings, and on our website, those elements may change as the world changes. Now, over to you, Alex.
Thanks, Steve, and thank you to everyone for joining us this morning. PayPal had a highly productive third quarter. We made good progress on our continued transformation while delivering strong operating and financial results. We brought multiple innovations to market, coupled with a significant new marketing campaign, and are seeing encouraging early adoption. And we continue to forge important partnerships with leaders in global commerce. We're early in our transformation journey, and we have a lot of work ahead to get to where we want to be. However, I'm proud of what we've been able to achieve in the last year, and it gives me conviction that we're taking the necessary steps to unlock the full potential of PayPal and Venmo over time. We've assembled a world-class leadership team, reignited innovation for our customers, and are now moving with clear purpose and increased velocity. We're leaning into our competitive advantage, a two-sided network of hundreds of millions of consumers and tens of millions of merchants around the world, to evolve from a set of disparate payment products and point solutions into a powerful commerce platform. As we shift from a payments company to a commerce platform, more of the world's leading commerce players have partnered with us to add value for our mutual customers. In just over 2 months, we've announced partnerships with Fiserv, Adyen, Amazon, Global Payments, and Shopify, and we're actively discussing more collaborations across the industry. These new and expanded relationships are a clear demonstration that our brand, innovations, and momentum are resonating. Before we discuss this quarter's details, I'm excited to announce that we will host an Investor Day on February 25th in New York City. We look forward to seeing many of you in person and sharing our team's longer-term strategy, key opportunities, financial and operating targets, and how we will get there.
That's awesome.
Now turning to our Q3 results. Total payment volume grew 9% to $423 billion. We delivered $7.8 billion in revenue, growing 6% on a currency-neutral basis. Transaction margin dollars grew 8% to $3.7 billion, and were up 6%, excluding the benefit of interest on customer balances. Our non-GAAP earnings per share increased 22% year over year. Importantly, this translated into significant free cash flow. We're proud of these results and have a clear plan to drive continued profitable growth over the long term. After another strong quarter, we're raising our full-year guidance for transaction margin dollars and non-GAAP earnings per share. At the same time, we're continuing to invest in areas that we believe will drive long-term profitable growth. Let me update you on our customer business strategies and the promising early results we're seeing. When I joined, it was clear that we had significant work to do to improve branded checkout. PayPal had fallen behind on innovation, and we had work to do to be more competitive, particularly on mobile devices. In January, we shared new mobile checkout experiences designed to significantly improve conversion. We've completed testing over the past few quarters and are now rolling out to customers new experiences on both desktop and mobile. These new checkout experiences are second to none. When implemented properly, the new product experiences are resulting on average in more than 100 basis points of conversion lift for vaulted checkout and up to 400 basis points of conversion uplift for one-time checkout. We're also seeing a 15 to 20% increase in buy now, pay later use. These experiences are live on close to 5% of our US checkout traffic today, and we're pushing hard to get them into the hands of more of our merchants throughout the holiday shopping season and into next year. I'm proud of our team's innovation velocity as we reestablish ourselves as the best converting branded experience for consumers and merchants. Continuing in large enterprise, we're making solid progress on our initiative to price our services in a way that reflects the current value we bring to our merchants. This is now the second consecutive quarter in more than 2 years that Braintree is meaningfully contributing to transaction margin dollar growth. We're having very constructive conversations with our merchants focused on ways we can enable strategic growth opportunities that drive long-term upside for both of us. What is different today is that we now have a suite of value-added services, including payouts, risk as a service, orchestration, guest checkout, and personalization capabilities that help attract new customers and convert them more effectively, in addition to world-class payment processing. We're excited about our progress here as it is key to long-term value creation. Finally, we're pleased with the initial reaction to Fastlane, which targets the 60% of e-commerce purchases made without a branded mark. Since we launched in August, we have over 1,000 merchants using Fastlane to provide a seamless experience to their customers and drive increased conversion. We've also reached a new milestone in our ability to recognize and autofill information for first-time Fastlane users. In the US, 170 million eligible customer profiles on the PayPal platform can now enjoy a seamless guest checkout the very first time they try Fastlane. The scale of consumers who are primed to spend with PayPal puts us way ahead of other guest checkout solutions, and it is one of the reasons why so many platforms are choosing to partner with us. We can't wait to get Fastlane into the hands of more merchants, not only on Braintree and PPCP, but also through our partnerships with Fiserv, Adyen, and Global Payments next year. Moving to small and medium-sized businesses. Last month, we launched PayPal Complete Payments in new geographies, including China and Hong Kong, with more markets on the horizon in 2025. In the markets where PPCP is live, we're steadily converting volume from our legacy products, with nearly 40% of our SMB processing and checkout volume now on this platform. What is important to remember is that many of these merchants are using PayPal for both branded and unbranded payments, an example of the benefits that come with integrated solutions. PayPal Complete Payments also allows us to work with many small and medium-sized businesses through partner platforms, including Shopify. As we announced in the quarter, PayPal is now an additional processor for Shopify payments in the US. Our branded checkout solutions are now integrated into Shopify payments, creating a single, unified experience for time-constrained business owners to drive operational efficiency. We also recently announced a partnership with Amazon to bring PayPal checkout to SMBs offering Buy with Prime. Next year, we will expand our work together to give Prime members the option to link their Amazon and PayPal accounts.
Only down 3.5% now.
Can receive Prime shipping benefits when they use PayPal while shopping with Buy with Prime. While it will take time to realize, there is significant opportunity here and more we can do to better serve the needs of small businesses. For consumers, we're redefining our value proposition with last month's launch of PayPal Everywhere. This initiative builds on PayPal's established brand position
only down
as an
3%.
Online shopping powerhouse to position PayPal as the go-to solution for spending, sending, and earning rewards, whether online or offline. We're doing this through cashback incentives on the PayPal debit card and a marketing campaign with the goal of reintroducing our capabilities to consumers who may never have thought about PayPal as more than an online payment option. we're starting to shift perceptions of PayPal and beginning to drive adoption of our suite of complementary products, which all drive back to branded
I want to
checkout.
see that mobile app get better. I
The
still hate
broader
it.
awareness and perception shift we're aiming for is not going to happen overnight. This is an area where we plan to continue to invest over time. That said, we're seeing early signs that give us confidence our strategy is working. Since we launched PayPal Everywhere,
Only down 2.5%.
we've added more than 1 million first-time debit card users. As a reminder, we're allowing consumers to pick a cashback category of their choice each month, which is capped at $50 per month. The top 3 categories customers are choosing and earning rewards for so far are groceries, gas, and restaurants. What gets me so excited is that we're now seeing customers make daily, in-person purchases with their PayPal debit card. In addition, these debit card users are now choosing PayPal branded checkout more frequently when they shop online. Early data from our existing customers shows a 5x increase in total omni spend within the first 2 weeks of sign-up. We plan to expand the PayPal Everywhere value proposition to Europe next year, incorporating learnings from our US launch. We expect the availability of NFC capabilities will help drive further adoption and use of PayPal. With Venmo, we're making progress in executing our strategy to shift from solely a P2P service to a central part of consumers' financial lives. Our new leadership team is taking a fresh look at Venmo, and we're completely transforming and upgrading the user experience. We know that we inherited one of the strongest P2P brands and see an opportunity to prioritize innovations that unlock Venmo's value. We believe that Venmo will eventually have multiple monetization levers. In the short term, we see 2 meaningful contributors. Let me unpack each of them. First is the Venmo debit card, which allows customers to spend with their balance both online and offline. We're in the early days of driving adoption, but we're seeing encouraging trends in engagement
Down
and monetization.
2.2%.
In the quarter, monthly active debit card accounts grew 30% yet again. This is exciting as the average revenue per account is 4 times that of all Venmo accounts.
Wow.
However, only 5% of Venmo active accounts are monthly active Venmo debit card users, demonstrating the opportunity ahead of us. The second lever is Pay with Venmo, which provides a seamless way to pay online. The strategy with Pay with Venmo involves both consumer and merchant adoption. On the consumer side, 8% of Venmo active accounts are monthly active Pay with Venmo users, so we have room to grow. Monthly active Pay with Venmo users were up 20% in the quarter, and the average revenue per account is 3 times that of all Venmo accounts. On the merchant side, we will bundle Pay with Venmo with PayPal checkout in our go-to-market motions to accelerate distribution.
He's so great, Jim.
With these product improvements in place, we're now leaning into marketing for Venmo for the first time in years. We will continue to build on this foundation and obsess over consumer needs and our product to fully unlock the brand's long-term potential as a multi-billion-dollar franchise. I want to thank the PayPal team for their continued commitment to transforming our company and making it even stronger. We've got the right team in place, and we're playing to win. With that, over to Jamie.
Great job. Great job,
Thanks, Alex. Moving to slide 7, PayPal delivered another strong quarter of results. The underlying stability and consistency of the business is encouraging, and we remain focused on advancing our transformation to drive durable, profitable growth. Change takes time, and we still have a lot of work ahead, but the team is making steady progress on top of an already solid foundation. Looking at the high-level financial results in the quarter, revenue increased 6% on both a spot and currency-neutral basis. Transaction margin dollars accelerated slightly from the second quarter. In addition to a nearly 3-point benefit from interest on customer balances, branded checkout, Venmo, Braintree, and better transaction loss performance contributed to growth in the quarter. Our focus on price to value is paying off, with Braintree again contributing materially to transaction margin dollars even as volume and revenue growth deliberately slows. Non-GAAP earnings per share were $1.20, representing 22% year-over-year growth. Relative to our guidance, outperformance was driven by a number of factors, including continued optimization of transaction loss, Venmo, and improvements in credit. Turning to slide 8, our operating metrics reflect another quarter of progress. Total active accounts increased by nearly 3 million from the second quarter to 432 million.
Cool.
Monthly active accounts continued to show steady progress, up 2% year over year to 223 million, with contributions from PayPal consumer accounts and Venmo. Transactions per active account, which is a trailing 12-month number, were 61.4 in the third quarter, up 9%. Excluding PSP processing, transactions per active grew 5%. Moving to slide 9, total payment volume grew 9% on a spot and currency neutral basis to $423 billion. Looking at the breakdown by product, global branded checkout volumes grew 6% on a currency neutral basis in the third quarter, consistent with the mid-single digit growth we've seen for the last 3 years. Within branded checkout, we continue to see strength across large enterprise platforms, marketplaces, and international merchants. As Alex mentioned, our team is hard at work to drive wider coverage of our most modern, best-in-class checkout experiences. We are particularly focused on small and medium businesses and mobile, both critically important areas for us to improve our positioning. PSP processing volume grew 11% compared to 19% in the second quarter. As part of our price-to-value strategy, we are moving deliberately and making decisions that prioritize healthy, profitable growth rather than targeting a high proportion of processing volume at low or even negative margins.
She's a great CFO.
What this looks like in practice with some of our largest enterprise customers is often a renegotiated agreement that reduces our total share of payment processing to a more balanced level. So, for example, from 95% to 75%, but with better economics and with a greater breadth of products and services. This means we are driving Braintree transaction margin dollar improvements and more strategic partnerships, but with lower volume and revenue growth. Moving to more financial detail on slide 10, transaction revenue grew 6% on a spot basis to $7.1 billion, driven primarily by Braintree, branded checkout, and Venmo. Other value-added services revenue in the quarter increased 2% to $780 million, and interest on customer balances continued to be a meaningful tailwind to OVAS, and credit revenue was under less pressure compared to the past 3 quarters. We have now fully lapsed the actions taken last year to tighten credit underwriting and reduce on-balance sheet risk. We're seeing better performance across the portfolio and have now started to modestly grow merchant originations. We'll continue to prudently manage the portfolio's exposure with the goal of sustaining our balance sheet light business model while providing our customers with more ways to manage their cash flow, spending, and borrowing needs. Transaction take rate declined by 4 basis points to 1.67%.
Yeah, why?
Compared to a 3 basis point decline last quarter. Improvements in Braintree and Venmo monetization benefited transaction take rate. These were offset by large enterprise and marketplace growth within branded checkout, foreign exchange, and faster payouts growth. Turning to transaction margin dollar growth, as I said earlier, interest on customer balances, branded checkout, Venmo, and Braintree were the largest contributors. Results in the quarter continued to benefit from efforts to optimize transaction loss performance with more advanced data analytics and some transaction expense favorability. Non-transaction related operating expenses increased 3% as we continue to actively manage our cost structure while reinvesting in key growth initiatives, including marketing that was deferred from the first half of the year and the rollout of new products and initiatives like PayPal Everywhere. Non-GAAP operating income grew 18% in the quarter to $1.5 billion. Non-GAAP operating margin expanded 194 basis points to 18.8%, benefiting from transaction margin expansion as well as expense leverage. PayPal generated $1.4 billion of free cash flow in the third quarter. We completed $1.8 billion in share repurchases, bringing the total number of share repurchases over the past 12 months to approximately $5.4 billion. Finally, we ended the quarter with $16.2 billion in cash equivalents and investments, and $12.4 billion in debt. Moving to guidance on slide 11 for the fourth quarter and the full year 2024, we continue to assume a relatively consistent macroeconomic and consumer spending environment for the remainder of the year. For the fourth quarter, we expect revenue to grow by a low single-digit percentage. This is directly related to Braintree merchant negotiations and ongoing efforts to drive quality, profitable growth. As I mentioned earlier, this is a deliberate action and a continuation of the strategy we've articulated throughout the year, where we have accepted a lower near-term Braintree revenue profile in exchange for better margins as we have renegotiated agreements. As a result of these efforts, we expect lower Braintree volume and revenue growth in the fourth quarter and through 2025 before reaccelerating from the reset baseline. This is a healthy, profitable trade-off for the business that benefits transaction margin dollar growth and builds stronger, more strategic relationships. We expect higher non-transaction OpEx growth in the fourth quarter as we have intentionally concentrated more of our discretionary investment spend, particularly in marketing, during the back half of the year and in the holiday season.
Makes sense.
This is strategically timed to support key initiatives, including the go-to-market of new products and innovation, as well as ongoing marketing and brand campaigns for PayPal and Venmo. Due to this timing, we expect fourth quarter non-GAAP EPS to decrease by a low to mid-single-digit percentage. 2024's full-year non-transaction OpEx growth rate, which we now expect to increase in the low single-digit range, is a reasonable way to think about the OpEx profile for the business next year. But like this year, we expect some unevenness in any given quarter. Moving to the full year in more detail, we are raising our guidance for transaction margin dollars and non-GAAP earnings per share. This increase reflects outperformance in the third quarter, as well as strategic reinvestments back into growth initiatives. We now expect 2024 non-GAAP EPS to grow in the high teens and full-year transaction margin dollars to increase by a mid-single-digit percentage. We have seen steady, profitable growth from our branded checkout business, and the teams are advancing our checkout initiatives. I'm encouraged by the rollout of innovation, the initial impact of our price-to-value strategy, ongoing product enhancements in areas like Venmo and P2P, and the customer response to the launch of PayPal Everywhere. As we move into the fourth quarter and beyond, we expect to continue making progress, but there are a few factors to keep in mind. Through the first 3 quarters of the year, growth in interest on customer balances and improvements to transaction loss were an approximately 4-point percentage benefit to transaction margin dollars. Beginning in the fourth quarter, we expect minimal benefit from growth in interest on customer balances, and then a headwind beginning in 2025 due to interest rate cuts. We're also planning for some normalization in transaction losses as we roll out new products. We now expect full-year non-transaction operating expenses to increase in the low single-digit range, with ongoing cost efficiency helping to fund our strategic growth investments. As we move into next year, our focus will be on striking the right balance between investment and productivity, seeking to largely fund long-term investments through savings generated from better deployment of tech and automation. We continue to expect 2024 free cash flow of approximately $6 billion and continue to plan for $6 billion of share buyback this year. In closing, I'd like to thank the PayPal team for their ongoing dedication as we drive meaningful change to strengthen our foundation for profitable growth. We are continuing to execute, and we're making good progress. And we're excited to share more with you at our Investor Day in February. With that, back to you, Alex.
Today, I am more confident than ever about our future. We have a durable and differentiated market position and a strong brand that we continue to aggressively invest in. PayPal has a massive global opportunity. We have the right team in place to harness that opportunity, and we are firing on all cylinders. It's an enviable position, and we're ready to make the most of it to drive value for our customers and shareholders as we head into the holiday season and 2025. Overall, this was a good quarter for PayPal. We are confident in our strategy and ability to execute going into the holiday season and 2025. Steve, let's go to Q&A.
Not bad.
Over the line, I ask everyone in the queue to consider your fellow analysts and ask just one question so we can get to as many people as possible. Sarah, please open the line.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to remind everyone, in order to ask a question, press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. We'll pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster. Your first question comes from the line of Darrin Peller with Wolfe Research. Your line is open.
Wolf.
Hey guys, thanks, and nice results on gross profit in the quarter. Look, unbranded decelerated as expected. It looks like you've been able to successfully meet that with strong pricing for value. So maybe Alex, if you could just start by touching on the customer response to the pricing changes and what you're bringing to the table. And then just maybe perhaps touch on the deceleration again embedded in fourth quarter transaction margin growth, along with how we should think about the exit rate into 25. Jamie, that was helpful color, but any more just in terms of the dynamics and what gives you conviction in the sustainability to the underlying trends? Thanks, guys.
Why don't I start with the second part of your question, Darrin? Good morning. And then Alex can talk about merchant response. So when we look at transaction margin dollars, as you mentioned, we're really excited about our, momentum throughout 2024. And maybe I'll pause and just talk for a second about third quarter transaction margin and then talk about the comparative to fourth quarter. And what's important here is we did have benefit from interest income in the third quarter. It was about 3 points. But more importantly, we had really good underlying growth drivers. Branded checkout TPV was up 6%, profitably growing transaction margin. It was our second quarter with Braintree contributing nicely to transaction margin dollars growth. So just continued progress there, which has been great. And then Venmo monetization. And Alex mentioned a couple of the data points on the call, but that's really starting to move along. And it's early days, but we're starting to see that become very consistent as it rolls through transaction margin dollars. So all of that consistent trends into fourth quarter. But what we see in fourth quarter that is a little bit different is that, number one, interest income, it's been a benefit all year. That is going to be a meaningfully lower tailwind in fourth quarter. I'm planning on less than a point of contribution to transaction margin dollar growth in the fourth quarter, so really relatively immaterial. And then we're also planning for transaction loss normalization as well. We're launching new products, and we also have some lower fraud recoveries just on a comparative basis. So if I pull up for fourth quarter, we're really looking at low to mid-single-digit transaction margin dollar growth for the fourth quarter. The quarter's off to a good start, but the most important holiday weeks are ahead of us, but the consumer feels strong at this point. And then if I pull to 25, I think the thing to think about is when we look at 25 X interest income, we expect transaction margin dollars to grow at least as fast as 2024 on that same basis.
Great, thanks, Jamie. And Darrin, just to hit on the merchant response, I've personally been involved in a number of these conversations, and I'd characterize them as very healthy and very strategic. As Jamie described in her remarks, a lot of this is us, really laying out our strategy to be focused on profitable revenue growth. And sometimes that comes with, a relook at our contracts and a relook at the partnership. But I'd say we're bringing more to the table now. And so the conversations we're having with these merchants is we're innovating. We're bringing Fastlane. We're bringing ads platform. We're bringing, additional value-added services that allow us to have a healthier, stronger conversation about where we're going. So, it's not that all the merchants were excited to have the conversations, but they understand where we're coming from, and we're bringing more to the table. And again, I feel like, as we've talked about, we are really focused on building durable growth levers and making sure that we have these conversations with merchants and getting back into a healthy place is a big part of that conversation.
Your next question comes from the line of Tien-Tsin Huang with JP Morgan. Your line is open.
Hey, thanks so much. Appreciate all this, all the data points here. Can you just give us a little bit more detail on the drivers of the more favorable view on transaction margin dollar growth here for the fourth quarter, and would love to hear what might improve and what you're most excited about going into 2025. And I recognize that it's hard to completely offset some of the interest income, but just curious what we should be looking here for acceleration in 25. Thanks.
Tien-Tsin, good morning. I really think it gets back to, the key themes that we've been seeing all year. We've really focused on durable, profitable growth as we've set the teams up for this year. And, part of that gets back to the product innovation and the deep investments we're making in our consumer experience and working with our merchants, around branded checkout. The trends on branded have been very consistent throughout this year. And second, and this dovetails with what Alex was just talking about, the focus of the teams around how to really have our Braintree platform be more holistic, really looking at the holistic margin profile, and really getting that to a place where we've got a much deeper breadth of value-added services with our merchants. I mean, all of those things are things that, again, have been growing this year, but the momentum we're seeing now and the visibility into how that continues is we just have more confidence, and we're more constructive on that today than we were, 3 months ago. And then Venmo and even P2P, the PayPal peer-to-peer money transfer, those two products are really turning nicely for us. P2P has had a nice turn this year, and we're continuing to see good momentum. And then when we look at Venmo, the actions of the team to really broaden how we bring this product to our consumers is really real and really rich. And you hear
somebody's buying
in some of the data points Alex shared in his prepared remarks. But when you actually look at kind of the activity roll through, Venmo's just a very consistently sticky product for us. So really excited about that. And that's what I see as, fourth quarter, just continuation, and then moving into 25 as well.
Yeah, Tien-Tsin, just to reinforce
down 1%.
What Jamie just talked about, what we've talked about with contracts on Braintree, I think that's pretty clear. Venmo, you heard in my remarks the core drivers that we've now implemented from an innovation perspective. Our Pay with Venmo continue to roll out. Our debit card is now embedded in the product, so I feel very good about the durable growth there. Maybe something we haven't connected the dots on well enough is all of the innovation that we're doing with Fastlane and with PayPal Everywhere, and with what I talked about in my remarks on branded checkout. It all comes back
jobs data
to
isn't
durable
out.
Branded checkout growth. Right, PayPal Everywhere, we're starting to see real habituation of people not just getting access to the offline checkout, but also now bringing that back into online. So all of this is driving back branded checkout growth. Same with Fastlane, where we're now starting to get more and more users that are just used to seeing the PayPal experience, and we can now market to them.
I'll be right back, guys.
Back.
I'm going to say goodbye to my daughter.
As we move into 2025, I feel like we are very focused on the core drivers that are important to the business, and we are innovating in the places that matter for our customers and will drive continued durable, profitable transaction margin dollar growth into 25 and beyond.
Yeah, and maybe, Tien-Tsin, I want to come back and just talk a little bit about interest rates, because you mentioned that in your question, and I think it's probably helpful to table set on that a little bit. So we've talked about transaction margin dollar growth at 8%. When you look at transaction margin dollar growth ex interest income, which is really a metric we look at just as much as we do the main metric, because we think it really represents what we're doing operationally in the business. That measure has been 4% year to date this year, compared to negative the last couple of years. So, when we look at that, really very excited about what we're seeing there. But when we level up and talk about rates, we've had that 3-point benefit this year. Fourth quarter, I expect that benefit to be relatively immaterial. The rate cuts that are assumed in the forward curve, let's just pause for a minute on that. Our portfolio is about a 4-month duration. So it just takes time, and it will take time for any particular rate cut to flow through. But the way to think about it when you're thinking about 25 is a 25 basis point rate cut is equivalent to about $40 million of transaction margin. And it depends on timing and when that happens. But if you just said, okay, we're going to take rates down by 100 to 150 basis points next year, it's about a 1 to 2 point drag on transaction margin dollar growth. So running the business ex interest income is something we're going to be very, very focused on as we go forward.
Nice.
Your next question comes from the line of Ramsey El-Assal with Barclays. Your line is open.
Hi, thank you very much for taking my question this morning. Now that you have a larger sample size of fast lane acceptance in the marketplace, can you update us on the monetization strategy, help us think through how potentially additive fast lane take rates might be versus average unbranded volume yields?
Yeah, let me take the rollout of Fastlane, and then Jamie, if you want to pile on with anything. We are seeing great uptake in Fastlane. I mentioned over 1,000 merchants. We also, as you've seen, are starting to bring on additional processors as part of that platform as well. And really that is the focus of the innovation right now, is improving the conversion rate in the 60% of non-consumption of a branded mark. So the majority of checkout is still guest checkout. We now have the best converting guest checkout product in the market. And so our focus right now is adoption. Our focus is ensuring we get as many processors up and running. That's important, particularly as we start to bring large enterprises into Fastlane as well, because many of them are multi-processor and will need potentially a Braintree and an Adyen Fastlane experience as well. And so right now, again, all of our focus on Fastlane is adoption. Pricing is built in to all of our contracts. We have relationships directly with the merchants, but our focus right now has been on adoption, and we'll continue to drive that up.
Yeah, and with respect to economics and how this will flow through, we are in the midst of a lot of conversations with merchants, and all of that includes a pricing element. And we've got good arrangements with our partners as well. Clearly, Fastlane will take time to ramp, and as we get through fourth quarter and through 2025, it'll take time to ramp and see in the numbers.
Your next question comes from the line of Jason Kupferberg.
It's a pretty good call. It's an honest call.
Your line is open.
There are concerns.
Thanks, guys. Good morning. Wanted to ask about branded TPV growth. I'm assuming you're expecting continued stability at around 6% in Q4. I'm just wondering if the broader rollout of the new checkout experience will accelerate the branded growth in 2025. And just as part of that, I know you gave the metric that 5% of U.S. checkout traffic is on the new experience. Any sense of where that potentially goes over the next 12 months? Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. So, to the first part of your question, yes, we see consistent trends when it comes to branded checkout. Again, our focus, and I've been consistent with this, really for a year now, is the improvement in our branded checkout experience. I've been very transparent that we had fallen behind on innovation, particularly on mobile. And as I sit here today, I am really proud and excited with the experiences we are now putting into market. And I shared some of the data on the improvement in one-time checkout with the 400 basis point improvement in conversion, vaulted checkout, 100 basis point improvement in conversion. So, we've also reduced latency in the overall experience by 45%. We've included additional mobile-specific innovations like an app switch, which is driving 10% lift in success for versus just password, which is driving, it's over a 97% success rate on iOS now. So overall, we have rebuilt the entire pay sheet, the entire experience on mobile. I expect us to continue to improve on branded checkout. This is a core focus for the business, not only these experiences, but as I mentioned earlier, Fastlane, PayPal Everywhere, everything driving continued flywheel back into branded checkout. So all in all, we need to see this play out. In terms of the ramp, I mentioned we're at 5% now. Look, the way I think about it is there are some integrations we have with merchants. Think about it as roughly a third or so of our integrations. We are in
We have some ability to continue to ramp up. We will do that throughout the holiday season and into early next year. And then some we need, as we've talked about before,
PayPal is up 0.6%.
Integration patterns that we need merchants to do the work on. And so the good news is they now have an incentive to do it. The conversion improvements are significant, and the conversations with merchants now are very healthy, and they're excited about getting these new experiences ramped up once they get past the holidays. So we're not standing still. I expect continued momentum on that 5% throughout the next quarter and into 2025.
The company is showing they're executing. They're showing that they're leading and they're innovating.
Your next question comes from the line of Dan Dolev with Mizuho. Your line is open.
I don't need to buy the dip. I got a lot.
Hey, guys. Amazing results again. Wanted to ask if it wasn't addressed already. Are you able to give us like a sneak preview of how you see 25? Because, from our conversations, this remains a big debate. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, Dan. I think some of the comments that we've talked about already really help shape 25 to a degree. You start with the revenue line. When we've looked at some of the very deliberate and intentional conversations we've had with Braintree merchants, I mentioned in my prepared remarks that we're seeing the impact of some of the revenue trades we're making begin to flow through the numbers in the third quarter, and that's also implicit in our fourth quarter guide as well. We expect that trend to continue through 2025 as we really shift from, focusing on high portions of revenue to just more holistic, better margin contracts. Transaction margin, we've talked about a little bit, that ex interest income really expect to see at least as favorable in 2024. One area we really haven't talked about is OpEx. And if I spend a minute on that, we do expect to see a higher proportion of OpEx in the fourth quarter than we've seen all year. And we're really reinvesting favorability back into the business. And in addition to that, we had deferred marketing expenses very deliberately from the first half into the second half. So you see that pop up in the fourth quarter. We now expect the full year to be up low single digits from a OpEx perspective. And when you look at 2025, that's probably the right framing and way to think about it as well, but just more balanced throughout the year in terms of how it flows through.
I'd love to just share and unpack, because you asked a little sneak peek about how we think about it and how we talk about it in the business. We are hyper-focused on what we are in control of, and we are focused on building durable growth levers. It's why the focus of the innovations that we've talked about, whether it's branded checkout, everything coming back to that, whether it's the conversations in getting healthier Braintree economics, rolling out new innovations like Fastlane and PayPal Everywhere. All of these are things we're in control of. It's innovation that is important to our customers and that we can monetize over the long term. We also, from the metrics that we're focused on, really are thinking about transaction margin dollar excluding interest income, because that's the metric we can really think about and be in control of. And again, as Jamie said, if you think about the last 2 years, that was a negative amount for us. We've now turned that positive in 2024. I believe we now have built a solid foundation and baseline for us to grow on, and I expect 2025 to grow on top of that. So be at least as strong and grow from where we set the baseline in 24. So the team is focused. Our innovations will continue to roll out into the market, and I think we're in a healthy place.
And that's part of the good thing, Dan, also about the Investor Day that we announced, that Alex announced today in late February, where we'll have the chance to also dive more deeply into all those elements.
Your next question comes from the line of Timothy Chiodo with UBS. Your line is open.
Great. Thank you for taking the question. I want to hit on Braintree, two aspects there. One around competitive positioning on pricing, now with the new sort of rebased pricing strategy, and then also the ability to bundle and get prominent positioning with the button. So first on the pricing piece, really stated it's with this new strategy, would you still consider Braintree to be more of a price leader, meaning when the contract is reset, is Braintree still the lowest price of all the merchant acquirers working with these various large enterprise merchants? And the second piece is, in the past, the button was often bundled as part of the contracts to receive prominent position on websites. Is that clause still able to be added into those contracts with this new pricing strategy?
Yeah, it's a great question, Tim. You know, here's the way I think about it. We are changing the conversation with our merchants. It is not just about processing what I would consider in some cases to be just a commodity conversation about pricing. When we talk about price to value, we're talking about the full strategic conversation and what we bring to the table. So when I talk about the healthy conversations we're having, and again, I'm having many of these myself, when I talk to the CEO of a merchant, yes, they want great processing pricing, but you know what they're really focused on? How do they grow customers? How do they get more customers to buy their products? And those are now value services that we're able to bring to them, not just best-in-class processing, not just FX as a service, risk as a service, the ability to sell all around the world. But now we're bringing to them an ads platform. Now we're bringing to them the ability to start to target with payment APIs the right customers at the right time. And these are really fun and really healthy conversations. And so, to be honest, yes, we will bundle our branded because that's important to us, and it's important to them because it's still the best converting branded checkout option in the world. Yes, we will still have significant pricing that we will price to value, and we will continue to price all our value-added services. But what's most important,
one sec.
Bigger, more strategic conversations with merchants that actually help.
Let me reload. 1 second.
Your next question comes from the line of James Faucette with Morgan Stanley. Your line is open.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate, Alex, your comments there on changing the conversation and being able to bring incremental value, including ad platform and driving that. I guess following up on Tim's question there, as you think about that, as you change that conversation, how should we be thinking about the potential then for pricing or value add and that kind of thing in the future? I know that I think you've done a really good job outlining that this is going to take time during the course of 25, but thinking about the long-term trajectory of where you would ultimately like to get and what you think that value looks like. Thanks.
Yeah, I think, again, it's very similar to what I just shared, which is, for us having these more strategic, deeper relationships that we can monetize across all of our value-added services is what's most important. And so, again, whether it's processing, which, again, we should monetize, or all the value-added services, or the ads platform, Fastlane, all of these different pieces, we're going to continue to lean in. And we're going to continue to work with our partners to drive branded checkout as well, right? One of the things that's interesting as we have these strategic conversations is how excited these merchants are about the demographics that we have as we start to reignite PayPal everywhere, right? There's opportunities with merchants that are omni-channel merchants that are thinking about, hey, how can PayPal everywhere now work in-store as well? As we start to bring Pay with Venmo. Pay with Venmo is an incredible opportunity for merchants as they now think about the ability to get access to one of the most valuable demographics of young, affluent spenders in the United States. And so, again, all of these conversations just continue to build on themselves. And I think we feel good about the conversations as well. Jamie?
Yeah, maybe I just add, too, a little bit about where we are in the process. We have worked our way through some large renegotiations, which have been really good conversations. But we've got more progress as well in the next couple of years. The agreements are typically multi-year in nature. Some renewals happen earlier than others. But we expect that more visible impact on TPV and revenue over the next several quarters. But more importantly, we expect margin accretion to emerge over the next few years as well. And part of that is these renegotiations. But Equally importantly, and you mentioned value-added services, it puts us in a position where in those discussions and following those discussions, the build-out of VAS and how we can bring that to bear in terms of building a much more sticky, holistic relationship, but one that really improves margin over time, that's the holistic piece of it that we're looking at. And we're already seeing that. We have already launched in the third quarter a really significant new value-added service that has been launched with a big merchant, and it's that kind of thing that that will continue to grow.
Your next question comes from the line of Harshita Rawat with Bernstein. Your line is open.
Hi, good morning. I want to follow up in Fastlane. Good momentum with partnerships here. Alex, you talked about 100 merchants using Fastlane. What are you hearing from some of the larger merchants ahead of the holiday season? I'm guessing they're doing the testing. And you mentioned using your existing vault to kind of deliver Fastlane experience now. How should we kind of think about like the dynamics with branded checkout experiences here? Thank you.
Hi, Harshita. Great question. So just to be clear, we're over 1,000 merchants now on Fastlane and continuing to ramp. A lot of those merchants are some of the smaller businesses, small and mid-sized businesses that are part of platforms that we were able to turn on, like BigCommerce as an example. A lot of the large enterprises, as you can imagine, are in the middle of their holiday season. What we're hearing from them is very, very exciting feedback on ramping Fastlane as soon as they can. Oftentimes that's going to start in Q1, to be transparent, for a couple of reasons. One, a lot of their code is shut down for the holiday season. Two, they want to make sure that Fastlane works across multiple processors, and many of the large enterprises are using multiple processors, which is why our multi-processor strategy for Fastlane is so important. And so bringing on those partners, as you mentioned, processing partners is critical, but the conversations that I've had personally with a number of the large enterprises is they are excited about Fastlane. They're ready to get on as soon as they can. And it's just about getting the work done. In terms of bringing that back to branded, we are starting to test into that as well. For us, again, if you think about the experience, we're getting the largest population of any accounts right now. These are people that have bypassed the branded experience, or some of them have never been PayPal users, of which those folks that have never been PayPal users, 30% are opting in to Fastlane. So we're now vaulting their instrument, we're creating a profile for them, and we're able to bring them back into the branded experience. And so for us, that's going to be a big initiative as we go into 2025, building on those profiles, those users that continue to check out at high rates through the guest checkout experience, but sharing with them the value proposition that a PayPal branded experience has. And again, that's why you've seen so much focus for us in 24 around building a rewards platform and starting to, even in the marketing that you've seen us go out, really start to burn into the minds of our consumers that PayPal is the most rewarding experience and the most rewarding way to pay, because we want people to be habituated into that branded checkout experience. And we think we now have unique levers, whether it's through PayPal Everywhere or through Fastlane, to be able to bring them into that branded checkout.
Cool.
Your next question comes from the line of Trevor Williams with Jefferies. Your line is open.
Great. Thanks a lot. I wanted to go back to the transaction take rate. I think the year-over-year decline there was a little bit bigger this quarter, despite a better mix between branded and Braintree. If you could just unpack that, how you're thinking about the trajectory of the take rate from here. And then within branded, the faster relative growth of large enterprise and marketplaces versus SMBs, that's been a consistent call out from you guys. Anything more specific on how that spread looked relative to the last few quarters would be helpful. Thanks.
Hi, good morning, Trevor. So take rate, as you know, there's a lot of factors that impact take rate, both our product mix, our geographic mix, customer mix, as well as pricing. And I would say improvements in our Braintree margins are directly impacting take rate. And that's one of the things, as we have lower incentives, if we have improving margins, that's one of the more significant things you see impacting take rate, just in terms of the overall mix shift in the numbers. And that is offset by, we've also had large enterprise growth at a faster rate as compared to small and medium businesses, and that mix shift as well with large enterprises just having lower take rates than small and medium businesses, that also impacts just the math on that. And we've had some impact from FX and our payouts business as well.
I'd love to just pile on small business. This is, as you all know, a very strong passion for me. What I feel great about is the innovation that we're rolling out. PayPal Complete Payments is now really the best one-stop shop for merchants to be able to do money in and access to capital. Money out, we still have opportunities as we think about the opportunity to allow small businesses to be able to send payments to others. But overall, FX, Global, Fastlane, Venmo, all these different things that we can now package together for small businesses is exactly the right product. And the feedback we're getting, especially as we lean into no-code, low-code solutions, easy onboarding, bringing in developer days, I feel really good about the innovation we have with small business. Where I'm dissatisfied right now is it just takes time. Right, this is a long tail of small businesses. You've got to touch what is ultimately millions of merchants over a period of time. So it's just not as fast of a switch as being able to just have a handful of large enterprise conversations. But we are building the go-to-market motions.
SoFi is almost red.
The team is bringing up, and I expect that to continue to grow and us really to make penetration into small business as we look into 2025 and beyond.
Let's try to fit in 2 more questions.
Thank you. Your next question comes from the line of Brian Keane with Deutsche Bank. Your line is open.
SoFi's red on the day.
Hi, good morning, guys. Wanted to ask about branded checkout, the 6% growth rate. Alex, how do you think that compares to the e-commerce market and how you guys are doing versus just thinking about the share? And then with Fastlane and improvements in branded and the focus on SMB, where do you think you can get branded checkout growth rates? Do you think you can get it to high single digits or just some kind of goals that you guys have set for the company? Thanks.
Yeah, what I'd say is, branded checkout has been very consistent. We are, again, the largest, best converting, and most share of branded checkout anywhere in the world, and it has been consistent. At the same time, we know there are opportunities, and the innovations that I talked about in my remarks and earlier in the call gives me confidence that we have opportunity to continue to improve that experience and grow. If you also then think about Fastlane, if you think about PayPal Everywhere, the habituation of people bringing back into the online branded experience, I think there's room for us to continue to take share there. So I'm excited about, first you've got to have innovation, you've got to have a value proposition. I think we put those into market now, and we've got the flywheel turning. So again, none of this is going to happen overnight, but I'm excited about where we go there.
Cool.
Let's hit the last question.
Thank you. Our last question comes from the line of Andrew Schmidt with Citi. Your line is open.
Hey, Alex. Hey, Jamie. Thanks for having me on here. I wanted to switch to the consumer side for a moment. Maybe talk about just the trajectory you see in monthly actives, especially given the, what you're seeing with the Venmo and PayPal Everywhere promotions. And then just broadly speaking, maybe you could talk about just the pipeline just for products on the consumer side. It's just an area where we get a lot of questions in terms of the consumer fit. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. First, what I'd say is, innovation is the most durable competitive advantage we have. And what you've seen from us in the last few quarters is really starting to drive innovation both on the consumer PayPal app, not just in branded checkout, but actually putting real innovation into the app with PayPal Everywhere launch, giving consumers the opportunity to now have an offline experience, which is driving habituation back into online, an enhanced rewards platform, and then on the Venmo side, leading in with innovations that, to be honest, customers have been asking for years with scheduled payments and groups and adding direct deposit. And so, when I think about customer growth is going to be essential for us as we continue to lean in and want to grow the business. But that comes through continuing to innovate and continuing to provide great products to our customers. So, what I'm really most satisfied about when I look back over the last year is we have an innovation machine that's now starting to ramp up inside of the company. Our velocity is improving while we're reducing tech debt. Our ability for our engineers to put more releases out into our consumers' hands, and we have a very, very healthy roadmap of innovation that we'll be driving to our consumers. So, very excited about where we lean in over the next few quarters.
Love it.
Yeah, and I would just say we've seen really steady progress in our monthly actives, both sequentially and year over year, and that is both the PayPal consumer and our Venmo consumers as well, also internationally. But, one of the things we really haven't talked about, and I think Alex has teased in his remarks here, is really PayPal Everywhere as well. And we're really excited about the launch we've had in the last couple of months. We're seeing really strong adoption, really strong usage. We had more than 1 million new users, since that launch. And the economics are nicely attractive on that. And it really drives habituation and selection, just like Alex was talking about, both with that core product and just the engagement with the app, the engagement with the debit card, all of those things, but also with respect to the halo effect that we see across other forms of branded spend with our products. So, that's, I think, a great example of one that we're really excited about and we'll have more of.
I know we've gone over a little bit, but Alex, any final thoughts?
Yeah, so thanks to you all, and thanks, Steve. So look, we've set a solid foundation to build upon, and we're executing against our strategy. I'm very proud of our team and the momentum we've created for our consumers, merchants, and partners. And I'm excited to deliver a solid holiday season for our customers and continue the trajectory into 2025. So take care, everyone.
Cool. All right.
Thank you. This concludes today's conference. Thank you for participating.
All right, guys, few things. One, they had a great EPS beat. Two, they have major partnerships with Fiserv, Adyen, Global Payments, Buy with Amazon Prime, and Shopify. Three, we have Investor Day coming on February 25th, which I think is great. We know their buy now, pay later attach rates are good. We know that they're adding a bunch of merchants to Fastlane. They said they have over 1,000 merchants right now. They're improving the autofill process, just trying to make things seamless. I think they have work to do on the app still. I still hate the app. There's just too many options for transferring and trying to pay. It should just be really intuitive and easy to use. But they're working on it. They've got the European launch. I love the fact that they've got 1 million debit card users added since their September launch, and that's continuing to grow, and that they're looking to do the same thing in Europe. And they've got the NFC in there now too, the chips in there. Even though I couldn't figure out how to get that to work when I was at Verizon trying to upgrade my phone a while ago. Again, I don't like the mobile app. I think they've got work to do there. What I find fascinating right now is that even though they talked about headwinds from lower interest rates in the future, it sounds like their margins are going to increase. And then they said they think this consumer is strong. I really like that. If you look over here, guys, let's just zoom in here real quick. So revenue by segment, something I want to show you, something we haven't seen a lot of recently, but look at Q4. See the spike? See the spike in Q4 2022? See the spike in Q4 2021? See the spike in Q4 2020? See the spike in Q4 2019? Where was the spike in Q4 2023? It didn't exist because Alex Chris was just taking this company over. But we know that this company is seeing active customer accounts increase. We can see that it went from 426 million in Q4 2023 to 427, an additional million in the next quarter, right? And then again another, and then 2 million the following quarter, and then 3 million the next quarter. So they're accelerating the amount of activity that is on their platform from active users. We can see total payment volume going up. We can see margins starting to go up over the last 3 quarters. And we know that they're actually marketing the business now. We've seen it from Will Ferrell, okay? And shares outstanding continue to just plummet, like fall off a cliff the last several years. So I don't know. I'm actually pretty excited about this. I think that Q4 is going to be the first time in a while where we see the baby bump, we see the bump that we should have got right here, over here. And so with everything they're talking about, it's down like 1.73% in pre-market right now. But I actually think this was a good quarter. I think that's why we went all the way. We dropped 15% almost, and then we jumped up another 14, currently up, 12% off of that number. It's a great place actually to find support. If you look here on the local time frame on the 4-hour, this is a great place to find a breather. And let's see, SoFi's down 0.5% today, guys. So don't feel too bad about your PayPal, because even SoFi is down today. So I don't know. I thought this was a decent earnings. Again, a revenue miss, but EPS came in tight. They were expecting 1.07. They got 1.2. I don't know. I love this group because I think they're just very transparent. They're very honest. They're conservative on guidance, and I think it causes people to go, hey, maybe this company's actually rebooting, and they're going to see innovation. So it's down 2% right now in pre-market. It could idle around here. You're going to see people that don't know what to make out of it when the market opens and don't trade in pre-market. Maybe that brings us a little bit lower. But I don't know. I think this is a great quarter. It's not like a blowout quarter, but I think it's a quarter showing that this company is going to have growth. It's only pre-market. Let's see RTH. Yeah. So again, pre-market has a decent amount of volume in it nowadays, guys. And we will get more here in a little bit, but I think this was a good quarter. All things said, this is a good quarter. And you got to remember this too, guys. You got to remember the fact of just how much PayPal has climbed. Let me bring it up on the big screen here real quick. Actually, let me just go over here. I'll pull it up. So again, PayPal on the big screen. This stock since July was up over 46% and is currently up almost 44% since the end of July. So really August, September, October, right? In 3 months, a little less, right about 3 months, we're up 44% on the stock. So I don't know. I'm not going to be upset about it. I think this is actually really great. And that huge bounce, being up 12% from the low, makes me happy. CleanSpark, 18 by end of November. I mean, I'm expecting 30 to 40 by spring, so 32 to 40. So, sure. Yeah, anyway. All right, let me see here. So we did get other economic data. We should probably pull that up and take a look here. I'm going to move on from PayPal. We're going to get into the second half of our stuff here. So let me just refresh and see how we're doing. The market did, I will say this, the market did appear to drop a little bit if we look at pre-market and we sort by percentages again. So again, everything was just a lot higher than it is right now, including Hood, including the Bitcoin miners. Tesla's actually holding up pretty good, up 0.3% on the day. But a decent amount of things kind of tilting into the red. TLT down 0.76. So I was saying the bond market maybe has found its bottom and yields have found their top. It doesn't appear that has happened yet. We're very interested to see what happens with the jobs data because these are getting smoked today. All right, let me look at comments real quick. CLSK has like 20% short float. I know, it can skyrocket so quick. Quick take on SoFi. I didn't look at their earnings, and they're down 0.5% today. It looked like it was good. I mean, every metric looked like it was good. So somebody's seeing something. Something they don't like. All in on DJT. God, I hope not, Digital Blade. I love Trump, bro, but I wouldn't be doing that. PayPal down 1.5% now. So again, we'll see what happens when we go live here, but I think it's going to be pretty good. Real quickly here, I might, I got to hit the boys' room. I had a lot of coffee, so give me a second, guys. If you had no exposure to crypto, would you own a miner or MSTR? I like a higher multiplier, so I would probably own a miner. But they've also been running. I don't know, man. I wish people would get in when things are going down. I wish they wouldn't chase. I don't like chasing. It's not really my jam. Here, real quick, though, I'm going to pull up Dipshit Kramer, and then I'm going to use the restroom. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab another thing of coffee since I already downed this one. I got to wake up. I started early today. I got up at 3. So give me a second here, guys.
Billions, it's going to be in the low 60 billions for revenue guidance. Now, a week ago, I did talk to Jeff Smith from Starboard, activist investor in the shares, and demanding change without giving any specifics whatsoever. By the way, this is a firm that, remember when at Darden, when they actually came up with new recipes? Yeah. They aren't doing that here. They're simply saying, we would like your capital allocation to be better. It's sort of a difficult thing to ask for. Do better on R&D. You know,
did you see the cost cuts?
I know.
Remember they said there were no more cost cuts? Of course, on $4 billion. He did a great job in the cost cuts.
But here is Smith from last week to sort of re-up that in terms of at least this ongoing pressure that Pfizer is going to be under.
We've been involved in companies that haven't been performing all that well, and then we come along and management understands that things need to be different, and they change, and they change dramatically, and they perform much better. We don't know which of those, we never know which of those is the right answer. What we like to do is to work with management and work with the board and try and figure out what's the best answer and how they're going to, but what I will say, something material needs to change. They can't just close their eyes and assume it's going to get better. Because you said, David, properly, what can I do about what they've done in the past? I can't do anything about what they did in the past. But today is tomorrow's past.
You got Borla tonight. You asked him that question?
Yeah, well, look, I want to focus on not what I think that's a little, I really like Jeff. I think he's fantastic. But Jeff would tell you, hey, listen, Jim, when I spoke to him, he said, Jim, you know, like, CGen, how are you, Mark Manioff's ill, he's not going to be on tonight. That CGen is going to be remarkable, I said to him, and he said, well, look, you know, come on. You know, this is what he's been saying publicly. You have to wait and see. We don't know. Right. You know, and Carl, look, you know, my mom died of cancer, and so I'm really focused on the cancer that he's working on. And it was 45 years ago. But I am totally understandable that if you can beat the cancer that she died of, there's like 4 other cancers that, when I investigated it pretty fully, that you can also beat. And none of them has really had much luck. So I think that Borla is setting up for a remarkable period if CGen pans out, and that he will turn out to not have overpaid because the cancers are so deadly. But he's got to start showing a little bit of what's happening.
And again, you don't see any risk from a Trump White House that is sort of skeptical of vaccines, right? And
well, geez, I wonder fucking why. Shut up, you stupid liberal cuck. All right, here we go. Back at it. Got my coffee. All right, here we go. Here we go. So let's take a look at economic data real quick. So Germany, consumer confidence, shit, but getting better. How bad is Germany's consumer confidence? Can you imagine living in Germany right now? Can you imagine, guys? Look at this. Look at Germany. Look at Germany's consumer confidence, guys. I'm going to, for now, I'm going to go ahead and kill the SoFi stock ticker down in the bottom corner. Look at that, though, guys. Look at Germany. Look at Germany and just the disaster this country has turned into. I love Germany. I've only been to Munich once, but I loved it. It was such a great time. And just look at this. Look at how devastating this is. Look at what's happened to them since the pandemic. There's no hope for their economy. Look at 2008, guys. And look at them now. And they're so heavily dependent upon China. China's going to destroy them. Their auto sector, without major tariffs, is just going to be in trouble. All right, so let's look at what else we got here. I don't even know what a Babel auction is, so we're going to leave that alone. I'm just assuming this is a bond auction. And the yields just went up. We've got wholesale inventories in Canada. Or wholesales, I'm sorry, in Canada. Outperforming. Let's see what this looks like. It's month-over-month data. I hate it. But at least they're getting some kind of trend break higher because they're not doing really great in Canada. U.S. trade balance. This is something we need to fix. This is what Trump will fix. Much of Germany is pretty nice. It's a beautiful place. Yeah, it's just sad. It's sad what they've done to their economy. But look at this. This is bad. This is what Trump has to fix, guys. This trade imbalance that we have is not healthy. And it's gotten worse since the pandemic. You could see it over here, right? So you see where we were over here. Look at what happened from the pandemic. And then now we're rolling over again, becoming more dependent upon trade from foreign adversaries in a lot of cases because a lot of it's from China. So that's what we're going to fix. Retail inventories, ex autos, month over month was 0.1. So inventories are normalizing and down a little bit headed into the holidays, and I think we could see a decent amount of sales over the holidays. So it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. United States wholesale inventories, it said, fell by 0.1% month over month to $905 billion in September 2024, following an upwardly revised 0.2% increase in the prior month. So again, revised a little bit higher in the prior month, and against forecasts of a 0.2% rise, according to advanced estimates. Durable good inventories declined by 0.2% in September after 0.4% increase the previous month, while non-durable goods stocks rebounded by 0.2% following a 0.1% decrease. On a yearly basis, wholesale inventories rose by 0.5% in September. There's not a lot of signal here. There's nothing really pulling markets in either direction. Let's look at the Red Book year over year, where we have the majority of U.S. retail sales quantified in this, and we have previous at 4.6, and the new number is 5.6. So this is the highest number since October 12th, and again, still looking good. If we look at the 5-year over here, you can see where we're idling at a pretty good number. Let me go back even further. Let me go back before the pandemic. We're idling at a pretty high number. If you go back and look at historical trends, this isn't bad at all for the retail sales sector. So that's good. Case-Shiller home price, month over month. I don't care about month over month. I want to look at year over year. 5.2%. That is lower than forecast of 5.4, but above consensus of 5.1. This is good, though. We want to see home prices coming down, honestly. We need them to be more affordable. And with temporary rates going higher, that's not super positive for home sales. So the price should come down. And if we ignore the Case-Shiller and just look over here at the house price index, we've got a 427 versus a forecast of 425.2. So it says the housing index in the United States increased to 427 points in August. And what does this all encompass? It says the FHFA, the Federal Housing and Financing Agency House Price Index, measures month-over-month changes in average prices of single-family houses with mortgages guaranteed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So that's what we're looking at here. And it shows that they're continuing to go up, house prices according to them. But if we look at the year-over-year number, we see a 4.2% increase, where forecast was 4. But again, the rate of increase is slowing. This is a good thing for the housing market. We need stabilization there. We need housing prices to come down. Next metric is going to be at 9 o'clock. We'll get the jobs, JOLTS job openings. We'll get consumer confidence. We'll get quits. We'll get Dallas Fed services. That's the big data. So 9 and 9:30, actually, we have 2 blocks of data. So I'll stick around for that. We got the open coming up in 12 minutes. So we'll see what that looks like too. Let's check pre-market again real quick here. So 81.37, it looks like on PayPal. How far down is that? That's probably only like 2%. 2.76% down, not a big deal. We are seeing markets coming down, though, because, again, Bitcoin was sitting a lot higher. Miners were up there with them. We're seeing that start to come down. Tesla's still holding on pretty good. Palantir down 0.3% on the day. NVIDIA down 0.5%. That's really been a drag. SoFi down 2%. SoFi's down about as much as PayPal. Isn't that funny? Gotta love that. And then the bond market continuing to get crushed. This is interesting. I'm going to be eating a little bit of cheese and chocolate and nuts and banana chips here so I can keep from passing out. Let's look real quickly, though, at the bond market and the dollar and everything else. So dollar today, still showing more strength than I ever thought it would. This is where we should be seeing a rejection. I'm going to move this over a little bit. So we'll see if that still happens. I think it can. Also, though, there's something to think about. The dollar could be strong based off of U.S. exceptionalism. And what I mean by that is, if Trump gets elected, the dollar is going to be strong. It's going to be strong. These cheese is mixed with it, nuts, banana chips. Yeah. It's I forget what it's called, but it's like this little thing. It's just a quick little snack. I have it whenever I'm hungry and I don't have food around. But the dollar could actually gain more strength than I previously thought it would because of Trump. I think that's probably the big thing that I wasn't thinking about previously that I should. Oh, real quickly, we are seeing CNBC talking about China and their stimulus. I want to go back. I want to hear that real quick, and this will give me some time to munch. All right, so we'll let this go real quickly because I want to hear that conversation. Out of the 600 people that are here, if you guys could hit the like, it's greatly appreciated. It supports my work. I do this basically for free, but do have memberships on YouTube for as little as $2, X for $5, and then Discord
Global
for
investors
$5.
on stimulus watch as China tries to revive its economy. Beijing reportedly considering the issuance of more than $1.4 trillion in extra debt over the next few years. Sources told Reuters that fiscal package could be approved next week and is expected to be bolstered if former President Trump wins the election. Jim, you had some thoughts on this morning regarding what exactly you buy if you're into this.
Right. I mean, look, they keep trying to get you to buy apartments. It's about real estate. And the problem is if you, in our country, you buy a house goes up in value, you're happy. And there you buy an apartment, your apartment goes down. No, thank you. So that's the deflationary spiral that he's trying to break, and they can't do it. And they can't do it because they've not chosen to give the money directly to people. And if you take a look at look at Nike, okay? I mean, the stock's not supposed to come. All the companies that are involved with medical not coming back. Boeing's not getting a lot of new China orders. What's happening is that it's just not impacting the consumer. So, Carl, if it's not impacting the consumer, then all you do is have this kind of momentary stock blip up. People buy Alibaba, and then what happens? There's no follow through. No follow through, David, because no real money is getting to real people.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but Jim Cramer is 100% right.
Right. It's just getting to developers and these state-owned businesses that shouldn't have ever been so levered. And all these stocks that go up, that's just fund managers in America just saying, I can't miss it, I can't miss it.
Well, there continues to be an expectation.
Xi is not a figurehead. He's not a figurehead. He's a dictator tyrant who's murdered most of his opposition.
After a series of announcements a number of weeks ago that was followed by a huge rally for a couple of weeks, then a pullback.
Right.
That there will be a follow-through with more actual money. This Reuters report would seem to put some credence to that. 1.4 trillion is not an insignificant sum.
No, it's not.
For them to potentially be spending. And if it does get into consumers' pockets, you would imagine it might have a...
The problem is Xi Jinping doesn't believe that he should give money to consumers. He thinks that they're wasteful. He doesn't believe in socialistic handouts, which is ironic coming from a communist state that literally is like built off the principles of socialism. But he said this multiple times. He doesn't believe in these things. So he doesn't want to give it to individuals. And this 1.4 trillion is a drop in the bucket. It says over the next few years, all it does is it increases global liquidity and capital flight. It does nothing to resolve their issues. Jim is 100% right on this.
Positive impact on their confidence, on that property sector even, of course, which is where, as you point out, so many of the embedded losses, so to speak, are in the
But, like Vice President Harris, what is she saying? They're offering, $25,000 for home buyer?
Yeah, first home, something like that.
Well, that would be, she should listen to Harris. That would be good.
Yeah, he wants to toughen up his population in China by crippling all of them, starving tens, if not hundreds of millions of people. So he's going to be very successful at that. You're right. He's going to toughen them up real good as they die.
Because that's what you need to do. You need to just write a check to people for home. Go buy a house.
Yeah, but you also need to get people.
But that would be a good plan.
People are underwater in their homes, and there we should point out there isn't quite the same social safety net as we have in our country.
Right.
And so your ownership of property is a nest for your savings for the long.
Exactly.
You don't even own property. You can't own property for 100 years or more, right? I think it's 90 actually. So you don't even own the property. You're leasing it. It's a fucking lease. Can you imagine that? Everything is the government in China. Everything is government.
term as well.
But look, Eunice was on our show. We got to remember very closely what she was saying, which is this could be a $7 trillion problem in real estate. Because I wanted the government there to do a resolution trust where they put up $1 trillion, which is a lot of money. And she said, Jim, you're underestimating the problem here by a factor of 7. I'm like, holy.
Yeah, this report out today that the number of billionaires there has dropped by 1/3. Everyone's trying to expatriate money. Apple India exports are higher.
Did you see that? So all these people, look, Apple's going to have a shortfall. There's no doubt about it. But if India turns...
I love my Mac. I got so late to the Mac party, but Apple is just not a company that's innovating enough, in my opinion. See, 70-year lease on the land they seized 80 years ago. Yeah, right? Yeah, that's funny.
So remember, we got 1.4 billion going up to 1.6, and we got 1.4 billion going down to 1.2. You want to be levered to India, not China.
We will get Kramer.
I agree. India is a way better investment than China. It's just a way better investment. PayPal down 4% now in pre-market and dropping. That is not an isolated incident, though. We're seeing a lot of stuff go down this morning. Or I should at least say this. SoFi, last I looked, was down this morning, which is crazy. Down 3% on SoFi today, off of great earnings. Everybody was excited about it, and yet poor SoFi in the shitter. I do think, though, that it's run really, really good for SoFi. Same with PayPal. They've both done really, really well. So I don't think it's too shocking to have them take a break, either one of them.
Kramer's Mad Dash and the opening bell. After this short break, take another look here at the pre-market as futures wobble a bit from these higher yields.
Got about 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes, guys, until the open. So, I don't know. I was hoping for better earnings, but honestly, like, the call was great. Let's hop around here while we're waiting. Let's look at oil. Let's look at gold. Let's look at our bonds. So, if you look over here, let me hit that. I'll fix this real quick. So, if we look over here at oil, we can see it's down 0.42%. So, still rejecting. Love that. I love that we're in the 60s. I think we're going to the 50s. So, I have not changed my stance on that. Let's check out gold. How's gold doing today? Gold is up 0.47%. Is it a new all-time high? Oh, it's real close. It's real close. I think it probably is. It's real close. So I think gold, oh yeah, it's not quite, but getting there. I think gold's going to hit an all-time high. I think that's probably inevitable as we climb 44% in 13 years. Still a shitty number, though. Still a shitty number, but hey, China loves to buy the currency. They love to buy the store of value that nobody gives a shit about it anymore. So this is perfect for them. Owning PayPal and is a form of toughening you up. Yeah. People comment deletion does not work in the aggregated comments. That's true. Not investing in DJT, but definitely swinging 500 shares from the 22 TA. Yeah. I don't even touch stuff like that. I don't have any interest in it. But if somebody's got an edge, if you have an edge, man, play your edge. That's the way I look at it. Let's check out the move. Everybody's got, so again, the move, I think the move is almost done moving. I should really, there's this great video, guys. Let me show it to you real quick. It's from Future Guidance, and it's talking about bonds. And it's their latest video. It's such a good one. Let me see if I can find it. Future Guidance? What is their future? I think it's Future Guidance. Let me find. What is it called? Forward Guidance. Forward. This is such a great video. I'm actually thinking about watching it again. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. I gotta look through their stuff. Oh, is it Blackworks Macro? Let me see. All right, give me 1 second. I think it's Forward Guidance. Let me see. Bond. Yeah, here we go. This is my baby right here. This is such a good video. Is sponsored by... I will link this video in the chat real quick because it is so good. All right, check out that video if you haven't, guys.
All right, let's get to a mad dash with Jim. We got about 7 minutes before we get.
All right, I'm gonna switch these guys to live and mute them for a second. Jim Farley, who gives a fuck about Ford? This video right here, guys, is so good. It's Blockworks Macro, and it says, is it too late to buy election hedges? But they talk a lot about the bond market And it's just really insightful information on bonds and how people are coming in late, and they're looking to bet, short the bond market, and how that's just not going to be great. What is SoFi down? 4% right now. SoFi's down 4%. If PayPal beats SoFi today, I'm going to laugh. No, PayPal's down 6.7. So we're seeing the market retrace a little bit. It's getting beat up over the short term. So we'll see. I think my crypto is still gonna launch me higher though, which is good. We like that. And again, guys, fear and greed. Oh, opening bell. Let's get to it. Got to backtrack 1 second. Got to hear the bell.
We now find out that there's a big problem in Turkey. Well, I mean, I don't want to discover that Turkey can be a big problem for them, since I didn't even know Turkey really mattered. And then one of the things that is just constantly
all right, so let's look over here.
And Jonas alludes to it. These warrants here, they just don't go away. And
Bitfarms. CleanSpark? Is this today?
What happens is you don't know when. You have a vintage of 2021, and the warranties they pop up. So it's not.
There we go.
We hope that
makes more sense.
I'm pulling.
That's too good.
No buyback. It doesn't
Still not
matter
bad
how
though.
much cash they seem to have. They don't want to buy back
Bitfarms is up
stock.
5.6.
And it was not a good quarter. It just wasn't.
It's all Bitcoin stuff today.
By the way, opening bell here. Breadth a little bit negative at the big board. It's Paramount Group, a REIT in New York City and San Francisco, celebrating 10 years. At the
PayPal down
NASDAQ hydrogen fuel
7.5%.
cell company Plug Power.
That's going to come back.
Really quick, finishing up Ford. Model E losses a little bit smaller than
SoFi right behind it.
I thought that was good, but no, because I would have thought that
poor
the
SoFi people.
internal
They're just
combustion
like,
engine
and
division would have
PayPal.
done much
We're all
better.
getting fucked.
The hybrid business was good, but not big enough. Truck business very good, but in the end, you come back and you say, guys, you can't keep doing this. You can't keep missing. After what you just, you can't say 10 to 12 billion EBITDA and then come in at 10, particularly because there's always something.
All right,
that
let's
pops
keep going
up.
though. So
Painful call.
Let's look at the 2-year.
Painful call, because you can detect that the analysts are saying, you know what? No, GM blowing the numbers out.
Right, and particularly in the ICE side of the
business. I do get
Ford,
pleasure out of watching. I get pleasure out of
I
watching Ford die. I mean, that gives me a little bit of happiness. I'm not gonna lie. All right, let's look at the 2-year here. Continuing to climb. 4.17. This is the reason the markets are down today, guys. It's because bonds are still, I should say this, the yield on bonds is still going higher. This is what's hurting markets today. PayPal down 5% on the day, it looks like. I'm gonna try it. I'm probably gonna turn on. Let me see here real quick.
We're all getting tired of the company saying
SoFi down 9%. PayPal is beating SoFi.
Almost. This is the bullshit. Jim Farley must
lol.
Yep.
All the lols. But here's the thing, though. I'm going to say this. We are topping on the bond market. Look over here, guys. I'm going to draw a line real quick on the 2-year. We'll look at the 10 too. Okay, but there's something I want to show you here that's important, and that a lot of people are probably going to miss. They're going to be like, oh, the bond market, I should buy bonds since they're going up. Stupid fucking decision. Look at this. So look at this. You got what turned into support all throughout here, turned into resistance all throughout here, turned into support all throughout here, and you could even pull it down a little bit. You could put it like right about here, right?
I can't deal with it anymore.
And then turn into resistance over here is now going to turn into resistance right here. And it could break above it for a minute, but it's going to fall back down. And I've changed this thing so many times that it's not doing what I want it to. But I still think this is what's going to happen with the bond market. And let's look at the 10-year. The 10-year is probably the one that everybody's talking about. Look at this. It doesn't even save. What the heck? I don't know what's wrong with this one. Let's look at the 10-year. So this is what's drawing down the markets today. And at about 25 minutes, we'll get more market data. So yeah, again on this, guys, let's just look at the 10-year and see how we're sitting as far as resistance and support lines, because this is going to be important. This is the monthly time frame. Wow, look at this. I need to go like the 3-month, because this is such a wild, huge chart going back to the 30s. All right, so let's look here real quick. So there's a couple key things to note. I'm just going to draw the line over here.
of hedge fund people that I speak to that they didn't buy it when it was
And we're going to look at it.
They're busy shorting it.
Which was not that long ago.
Right here.
Okay,
so we have resistance here. We have kind of attempting support here, failing. We've got resistance throughout here. We've got temporary support, resistance, 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 fighting the line, breaking back down, turning this line into resistance. And now we're trying to break above this line now again. And you could even draw it higher. You could even say, you could move this. And show it like maybe there away from the wicks. Yeah, that's probably a better way to look at it. So can we go higher on yields? Yes, we can. I know, SoFi down 10%. Isn't that funny? Everybody, I feel so bad. All these guys are like, yeah, SoFi blew it out. PayPal did horrible. And now PayPal is outperforming SoFi. How hilarious is that? Super funny. I mean, not if you own SoFi, but very fascinating. I hate this. Look at this. This thing does not save. That is so stupid. I need to share this too. I need to get better at sharing these. I need to put these out in the Discord. Let's do this too. Oh, that one I got a link. So again, bonds. Let's look at the yen, or let's look at the inversion too. We haven't done that in a while. So inversion, chopping along, nothing crazy. That's exactly what we expect. Let's see how the Japanese yen carry trade's doing. So we see the bond market yields at highs, right? And then we see this Japanese carry trade getting close to scary. I don't think we're going to get there, but the dollar is still gaining strength against the Japanese yen. You don't want to see it. We do have bearish divergence that goes all the way back to 2022. That should pull this back down. I do think that's what's going to happen. The dollar against the yuan, the dollar is gaining strength against that again. The ruble is down a little bit, but again, it looks like the dollar is going to break out against the ruble, which would not be great for the ruble at all. Russia's in a hurting unit right now. Let's just put it that way. So again, put call ratio doesn't look bad. This is all good stuff here. Let's see how Tesla's doing on the day. Tesla flat on the day. Isn't that amazing? This is a perfect support zone. I've said this before, guys, but just look over here. This is literally the breakout zone that we're back testing right now. So we could stay here for a day or two or maybe longer, but then we're just going to whipsaw up. Tesla looks great in my opinion. A lot better than some of this other stuff. Let's sort over here and see how badly.
Shoot this down, but
so Bitfarm's still doing great. Love that. SoFi down over 10%. PayPal crushing SoFi, only down 5%. Oh, the irony. The irony of everybody cheering. They're probably like, SoFi's doing so great today. Let's talk shit about PayPal. And then later they're like, what the fuck is going on? What is happening? I could just hear the tears of the SoFi bulls. Let me see if we can find the tears. Let's look over here. See what people are saying. They're probably like, what's happening with SoFi? What do we have here? This is third world corruption. Swing state Georgia. Democrats are suing to prevent drop box surveillance. How can you sue for that? How can you sue to prevent people from watching drop boxes to make sure that people aren't stealing them from them or starting them on fire? This is insane. This is insane. We have the Democrats are trying to create a banana republic in this country, guys. They don't want this country to have free voting. They want it to be controlled. They want it to be one party. If you support that, man, I don't understand. I don't understand why anybody would want to support that. SoFi, big beat 2 hours ago. What are the comments like now? Trash stock. Huge beat. Student loan is back, baby. Nice earnings. Let's see. Let's get further down in the comments and see if people are still excited. I don't know. Anthony Noto was excited.
He's not new. He was hired back in 2019.
Probably be a good thing to buy now, maybe.
And, they have grown.
DJT has been halted. Why?
And had a quarter in which they once again
Oh, wow. It's going to be a fun day.
Again, owner of hospitals. They have been divesting some hospitals as well. I think
it's going to be a fun day.
Hospitals this year.
All right, SoFi down 11.5% today. PayPal still winning. Palantir's down 1. So we're getting a nice retracement. This is probably fairly needed. Let's look at the indices here. We're right in line with our upward trend. Down 0.34% on the S&P today. Nothing crazy there. Let's look at the NASDAQ, probably getting hit the most. No, down 0.23%. Huh, I might have to look and see how that's going. But again, we're in overbought conditions on the monthly time frame. So it's not crazy that we're kind of trading. Weekly isn't doing too bad, though. Weekly's chilling out. We're only at 62. Not quite near 70. So we're getting a little bit, I don't know, that we could still see things taking off in these markets. Let's look at the Russell. Is the Russell getting shit on today? Yes, the worst performing, negative 0.93%. Again, markets aren't, this is kind of healthy. This is healthy. You go up, then you go down. Fear and greed is probably getting close to neutral. I would buy the stock. Any interesting companies reporting after stock market close? Let's take a look. Let's go to the earnings calendar here. Switch to the weekly. Oh, we got to take it off my favorite. Well, I mean, we got Google. That's probably interesting, even though I think Google's a joke. Why did DJT get halted? I don't know. Oh, not that I care too much. All right, so we got PayPal and SoFi out of the way, but we got Google, we got Visa, we got AMD, we got McDonald's, HSBC, Pfizer. There's a bunch. This is a huge week. BP, we got this is a huge week for earnings, guys. There's going to be a bunch of stuff. Robinhood, luckily tomorrow is post-market. I don't think there's any good pre-markets tomorrow. Let me see. I believe that there's a rate cycle coming. That's the stock to buy. It did run up to 106 when they reported last, and I totally respect that, but volatility? Okay, that makes sense for DJT. Yeah, I don't see anything really interesting. I guess ADP. Oh, ADP reports tomorrow. Pre-market. I never think about ADP. That's another one that I thought. But I mean, they do the payment processing for like everybody. It's probably a good earnings to actually get a pulse on. I might have to think about that. I'm going to add that to my favorites list at least.
It's up about 31 or so percent.
Because employment-related numbers are probably good. MicroStrategies tomorrow. There's a ton tomorrow. Again, the weekly shows a lot of earnings tomorrow. MicroStrategy, Coinbase, Robinhood. I'll be doing Robinhood. But we've also got we got Meta, we got Microsoft, we got MicroStrategy, we got Riot, we got Starbucks. There are so many earnings. This whole week is just lit. So we're down almost 8% right now on PayPal. SoFi down 12%. Canadian media is stepping on Trump harder than the U.S. Hey, Jesse, what are your expectations for MicroStrategy tomorrow? I don't really care, honestly. I mean, MicroStrategy is almost all about their actual business, and I really don't care about their actual business. It does not matter. They just keep buying. Let's look over here, though. So subscription services revenue is the strongest part of MicroStrategy. Product revenue is or support revenue is dropping. Product license revenue has been dropping. So their company is like lackluster at best. Their cash flow is all out of whack because they buy all this Bitcoin. I don't even know. It doesn't even show their Bitcoin holdings on here. But again, they've got over 250,000 Bitcoin. Yeah, the biddy's the strategy, so I don't even care about their earnings. Honestly. Doesn't mean anything to me. Let me look over here again. I want to see.
Things about Boeing, and then I would turn to you and say, "Well, why do you know?" And I did the same with Ford.
Whatever, I'll just do this.
I didn't want to. I did not.
So yeah, SoFi the biggest loser. Who would have thought?
They're not doing well.
TMF still getting hit. Flux getting hit. DLO getting hit. Small caps getting hit. ARGT getting hit. ARCG getting hit. NVIDIA getting hit. U.S. oil down.
Guys, we should point out.
I mean, if you were on that Boeing
Hood down 0.35%. I think Hood's going to have a much better quarter than what we've seen with SoFi and what we've seen with PayPal.
145 was sort of the
Soul Strategy is starting to pop. Again, I don't have a good place myself to buy that, so I'm not really touching it.
But it's also 16 billion worth of stock.
And Bitfarm's still up 7% today. You gotta love that, guys. You gotta love how much the miners are holding up portfolios today.
When Boeing did the bond deal.
When they did the bond deal at the
you're right. The equity deal.
They really are.
The Deutsche Telekom sale of
so God bless the Bitcoin market. I should actually probably pull. I should look at my account. Well, I really won't get good numbers yet, so there's probably not too much reason to do it. We've got about 14 minutes until our next data point. So Jolt's job openings and consumer confidence and job quits all coming at 9 o'clock. I might jump after that just because I didn't get a lot of sleep last night.
We've had him on, and Bob Gamgort is a remarkably good Pinnacle Foods. Remarkably good operator.
MicroStrategy could totally dilute. They what are they at right now for the tracker? They're at 2.99. So I mean, this would be a good time to sell stock, but again, they're kind of thinking Bitcoin's rising, so maybe they hold off and let it balloon even more just to get that whipsaw even more. Bitcoin's on fire, like a good kind of fire. 71,460, so it looks like Bitcoin's still going to run.
SoFi's, this is the third time that they've raised numbers, and Anthony Noto has been very abject to be
I'm going to be very excited. I think Bitcoin's breaking out today potentially.
The stock again. This is a good example.
I mean, we could test 74 today.
At 7 o'clock, and someone paid that price. The reason I'm emphasizing
it is.
That Lynn Martin, who's our great landlord,
3.07% away. That is not a long ways, RJ.
Robinhood started this.
That's not a long way at all. I regret selling all of my MSTX 2 weeks ago, but I also used it to buy some cheap CleanSpark. Yeah, those will do all right. Plus, again, MicroStrategy is going to get slammed at some point. It will. Even though it was good to buy it back once it dropped, and I did post about that. Once the number dropped like down to here, in like the mid twos, I want to say 2.5 or something like that. That was or 2.4. I think it was like down over here. Then that was a much better number, but it's skyrocketed again. It's going to be a yo-yo.
And say, you know what, I'm buying that stuff.
BTC shorts are getting liquidated for sure. I agree. I think they're going to hurt.
And I know you're against that.
I think they're going to get hurt. Maybe I'll end up buying some more PayPal calls. Maybe I'll push out further. Not yet, though. I want to wait. I want Bitcoin to get to 92, then I'll start looking towards other things.
Cadence was a good analog to NVIDIA.
I do have some TLT. Just kind of hanging out. It's down 0.7% since I bought it. What should I buy with it?
We had to do VF Corp.
By the way, we have Lisa Su tomorrow. VF Corp.
What should I buy?
Why? You know I like him.
I know you do.
My Hood is already up a bunch.
Saying his name. I'm telling you,
I'm up 150% on Hood. I feel like that's too much.
Not Vans, hey dude.
PayPal's down 21% in the January 2026 calls. I'm gonna buy it. Fuck it.
VF Corp tonight, Sue tomorrow.
I think that's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. Can I sell my TLT? Oh, just bought it yesterday. Guess I can. Not an option. All right, sold my TLT about 12,000 worth. I'm gonna buy some PayPal calls that are, even though they're up 53%, like a crazy man.
Yeah, I've got a plane crash.
I'm gonna buy some.
I mean, they were doing horrible things to me.
Let me see here. I don't know how many I can get.
As we go to break, we are going to get Google, the first of the Mag 7 earnings out tonight.
All right, 7.6. 7.6 is crazy low.
And some conference board
people are
as well,
fucking selling for this price. All right, I'll buy. You got me. Let me see here. Can I get in at this? No. Okay. Oh my God, I can't believe people are selling at 765. What idiots. Stupid fucking people. All right, I'm gonna try it. Can I get this right now? Oh, let me buy it. Oh, I just bought a bunch of PayPal options. Sweet. Love it. I got them at 765. That is so freaking low. People are just dumping those options contracts. That's great. That is great. MSTU. We're at a 3 on MSTU, and I've got $9,000 in it. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to buy more PayPal. All right. I'm getting crazy up in here, yo. Buying the SHIB out of some PayPals. Let me clear this real quick. I normally wouldn't be buying more PayPal, but I just think this is too stupid of a deal. People are not thinking. They're just not thinking. Let's see. Oh, now they're starting to buy some, you fuckers. Well, let's see here. Let me see. Can I still get this in? All right. Bought about $22,000 in PayPal, $23,000 in PayPal. I bought calls. They were down like 30% or something, man. I bought calls. Some people were just dumping them like idiots for the 2026s, so. All right, let me go over here. Thank you to the 850 people that are paying in Discord. You guys are great. All right. We've got 7 minutes, guys, until the bell.
Jim has mentioned some of the names being affected by rates today. We've mentioned some of the home builders, Horton. Watch some of the suppliers
turn this
like
up real
Masco
quick.
and Stanley Black & Decker. Home Depot.
I got a feeling people are going to start buying
Dow
those options now. Those are stupid cheap.
The overall index down about 130. Still hanging on to S&P 5810. And we'll be back in just a moment.
Let's see. What is Bitcoin doing? Oh, dude, we're screaming higher on Bitcoin, guys. Oh, yeah. She added OpenBB bot to Discord, which is awesome. I think that was your request too, wasn't it, BD? And I can't believe you guys made a micro to macro pumpkin. You guys are great. I would actually have to complete some college education, I think, to create my own ETF. I'm a high school dropout, so I only went to high school for a year and a half. And I really don't want to go back to school. I hated it. So probably not. Probably won't do my own ETF unless I use somebody else's education to create it. I haven't looked at Bitfarms calls, guys. Oh, I'm loving. How do you join Discord? Oh, for anybody who, I think you probably want the app, but you join it through WAP. I do WAP because I save a ton on the fees. I get like, out of $5, I get like $4.97. Yeah, I don't need a small PP. Thanks though, Walter. He's not using it though, right? You can use the browser version, so you're right. You don't need to install an app. And if you use WAP.com, then we get a vast majority. God, guys, we're breaking out on Bitcoin, dude. What is... Oh, what a day. Today's going to turn out to be a sweet day. I got $25,000 in cheap PayPal calls. So thank you to everybody who'd let me buy them 30% down on the day. Miners are not reacting. Miners will react. People are buying the base asset right now. They'll get there. God, look at SoFi, still down 11%. PayPal doing... Look at this, though. Sol Strategy's up. Bitfarms is up almost 8%. That's a miner. Riot's up 4.36. Mara's up 4. CleanSpark's up 4. MicroStrategy's up over 4. I'd say they're doing all right. Again, euphoria with miners comes later. First, we have the move. To
learn more.
Jim, what's on Matt tonight?
All right, I got Pfizer, Dr. Borla. We've mentioned that, and I think that's a battleground. It's a battleground state, not unlike Nevada and Pennsylvania. And then there's Reddit, and this is not a battleground because I think it's done incredibly well. My question about Reddit, and I'm going to ask this to Steve Huffman, is if you're using Meta AI, I mean, are you paying
I was up
so
yesterday, and now I'm down.
So I can't
30% PayPal. That's how much those got crushed
because
today.
they're using Reddit to run their large language models.
Right, and I just think that Huffman's stock is undervalued as it is. It's been very good, but I want to find out more about that.
Which calls did you buy?
He's been selling a few shares lately.
Yes, but you know what?
Oh, the ones I'm buying? It's the
and I just think that Huffman's
95
done a remarkable job. He had to go into a
January
situation
2026, but you might be able to find something better, guys. I'm just buying what I already have.
Like, they thought it was kind of like
for PayPal. There might be better contracts out there. Use the option video. Take a look. But these were down over 30%.
I'm very proud of it.
30%.
Those IPOs that was a long time coming.
Oh boy.
So I took the opportunity to acquire.
Jim, we'll see you tonight.
Because I still think the
David, I
company's
know
doing
some
good.
guests. You working on some guests?
I'm always working on guests.
Yeah.
Usually my Palantir's at 490% is gone for PayPal dip.
Dubai, and you're like having,
Oh, you sold some Palantir to go for PayPal? I don't think that's a bad choice. We're at 71.7, guys.
That would be unprecedented.
On Bitcoin.
There's a good Red Sox comeback at Netflix.
There was. It's unlikely. It's highly unlikely.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
Mad Money, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Undoing some opening losses. Dow down 60. Stay with us.
Dude. In 3 minutes, we get more data. We're going to break 72 here soon, guys. This is crazy. I'm going to move the goalpost up because it's already getting close. I'm going to move it up to this other high. Oh, my God. We are so close. We're going to see some short liquidations, guys. Bitcoin's almost Audric Trudeau. Any relation? Any relation to that guy, that Justin guy? 100K in Canada. I am not surprised. Canada's economy is worse than ours, so it makes sense. Economies that are worse off than the United States will break out sooner. C-list. Plus, since people like to chase the top of stocks and ETFs, it's so easy to be clever, but have a fund that often disappoints many, like Cathie Wood. Cathie Wood, here's the thing. She disappoints right now, but near the top, everybody will be like, oh, Cathie's so brilliant, and they'll be buying up her funds like fucking crazy in a speculative rally that just is through the roof. And then they'll curse her name again when they lose a bunch of money. It's just how it works. She does have a good long-term vision. I think CleanSpark. Let's look at some of these miners. Yeah, people bought ARK at the top. I did not, but they did. So we got Bitcoin soaring. Let's look at MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy doesn't look bad. It does. It will get toppy, guys, at 285, 286. So I might, again, you might want to get out at this level because again, from what we're looking at here. Just on the tracker, I've got 2 of these open, so I'll shrink it up. Getting to 3 is pretty high. It's a little bit better than that now. Oh, no, it's right near 3. So that's pretty high. Could it go higher? Yes, it could, but damn. So what the fuck happened with PayPal? What happened to SoFi? They crushed earnings. They crushed earnings and they're down 11%. PayPal's only down 6.5%. So lots of good questions this morning, guys. Lots of good questions. PayPal actually had a really great quarter. Their options contracts are down 30%. So I think there were people that were too heavy into those. So I used the opportunity to buy about 25K, or I guess 23 or 24, something like that. Whatever it turned out to be. I know I had a little bit of cash and then I sold a couple things. So yeah. All right, let's look at Mara. Let's just roll through some miners here. Mara's up 4% on the day. Again, Bitcoin setup so good. Clean Spark up 3.75. Do you know what this looks like? It looks like an inverse head and shoulder. What's the measured move?
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome to another hour of Squawk on the Street. I'm Carl Quintanilla and Melissa Lee.
So that gets us to the breakout
zone. For Sarah Eisen, who's on assignment. David Faber here at Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange.
That looks slick.
Market putting a lid. The yields are putting a lid on equities for the most part.
We're going to see really high prices in Clean Spark soon enough.
Nasdaq is up 8 of 9 days, and we'll look forward
Sailor
to the
should
first
let
of
it
some
ride
Mag
after
7
the election.
earnings tonight
You know
with
what?
Alphabet.
If he maybe should let it ride. Let it get to a 3.5x multiplier. Let that elasticity build.
Shares of D.R. Horton are
I
dropping.
agree.
Earnings
I don't
coming
think
in
that's a
well
bad
below
idea.
estimates, saying interest rates are keeping buyers on the sidelines.
You sold some of your position in SoFi, Rebecca?
F5 Networks, meantime, a top
I mean,
gainer
here's
on
what
the
I have to
S&P.
say about
At least
SoFi,
8
guys.
firms raising their price targets on this name this morning after strong numbers and an upbeat forecast there.
What?
JetBlue shares plunging.
One sec here,
earnings
guys.
beat,
I want
but
to see something.
Good morning, Carl. Indeed, Jolts. This is September read. We're expecting a number somewhere in the vicinity of 8 million openings, 7,443,000.
Good.
Last month's was revised.
Good.
It came in at
We want it to be lower.
8,040,000.
We want less job openings. We want it to be more in line with historical.
So this now becomes the lowest read going back to
We don't want it to go
January
down
of,
much lower.
2021, January of 2021.
Let's go back here.
In terms of the Conference Board consumer confidence numbers, they are coming in, trickling in. I don't know if there's an issue this morning, but headline number expected to be in the vicinity of 99.5. Comes in much, much better than expected at 108.7. 108.7. That ends up being the best level since January of this year. It's the second best level of the year. And if we look at present situation, it comes in at 138. 138. That follows 124.3. That's
Consumer
a blowout
confidence
number.
is great.
That's the best since May of this year. And finally, what may lie ahead in the form of expectations, 89.1 blows away the rearview mirror at 81.7. And 89.1, well, that becomes the best level going all the way back to December of
Okay, so we're seeing job openings start to reduce. We're seeing job quits in line, and we're seeing consumer confidence through the roof.
Of 21, December of 21. So
I think this is good.
We see that yields moved down a bit. Now they're coming back up. But maybe the most important number this morning was much earlier. We had an advanced trade deficit that came in the second highest level ever going back to 1989. We could talk about what the election may do ahead. But boy, in the here and now, we have some issues going on.
We're breaking out. We're going for
Imports
72.
much stronger than exports.
I'm going to put it down in the bottom, guys.
The confidence data, much stronger. And do remember that at the high yields of the session today, as Carl referenced, around 432 and a 10-year, that would be a 4-month high close. Haven't closed near that level since the first few days of July. Carl and the gang, back to you.
Wow. Okay, I'll take it, Rick. And yeah, that is quite a story right there at 4.30 right now. Let's get more to, let's get to some.
So bonds were breaking. Let's look at bonds real quick, guys. We got a lot going on. So we got, this is fascinating. Let's just see what's happening. So let's look at the 2-year and the 10-year. So we got data that's pretty good. The 2-year yield's coming back down. This is good. This is what we want to see, guys. This is what we want to see. This is good for markets, okay? Let's look at the 10-year. We see a yield drawing back down. It actually, well, the 10-year is still about flat. It's about flat from where it was earlier. So the 2-year is seeing, oh, no, it's coming down too. It's coming down too slowly. So this is good. This is what we want to see. We want to see bond yields dropping right now. We've got Bitcoin getting ready to break out. We've got bond yields dropping. Bitcoin, again, guys, is down in the corner now. So I'm going to I'll zoom in just a hair on this one. Can I do that? Let me see here. MicroStrategy may apply FASB accounting rules. They might. They could have already. They'll be forced to for their Q4 earnings. So this would be the last quarter where they can actively do it on their own. We are pushing 72, guys. We are pushing it. If you look down in the bottom corner, this market wants to break out higher. Let's look at the watch list because I got a feeling things are going to start turning around for everybody. Bitfarms up almost 9%. MSTU and MSTX are just cheating. But again, MicroStrategy doing good. Riot's up 6%. ETH is up 5.5%. Ejective, a bunch of layer 2s for ETH are doing all right. Doge is doing good. CleanSpark is up 5%. Mara's up almost 5%. Near Protocol's up almost 5%. MicroStrategy's up 4.5%. Coin's up 3.33%. Coin just doesn't get the love that MicroStrategy is going to get. Matic is up. Silver's up. Hood is up 1.5%. We're seeing the market recover. Sol's starting to creep up. Iron's up 1%. Iron's lagging because it was a leader yesterday. And don't overthink it. Nvidia still down, but starting to tick back up. We're definitely seeing the market starting to recover. Palantir down 0.56. Tesla down 0.75. But still not bad. 5.81 right now on PayPal and just a little over 10 on SoFi. So I think the market's starting to recover already today. But this nearing the breakout on 72 is sick for Bitcoin. This is really good. McDonald's just beat on Q3, and EPS and revenue are ticking higher. The 10-year is still staying suspiciously high for the yield. Don't love that. Don't love that. But yeah, so we have Dallas Fed services coming out at 9:30. If we can get some good data there, it's going to be nice. The short squeeze on the miners will be vicious. There is so much short interest right now. What did I want to look at, though? I had a thought going through my head, and I lost it. What was it? I was going to look at something. It was a thing. Oh, yeah. Yes. I want to check out the CME Fed Watch tool and see where we're sitting on rate cuts. See what they're digesting for today's data. I'm going to close out this PayPal earnings thing, too. And this. Close that. CNN Fear and Greed Index, 61. What does crypto look like? 72 still? 95% probability of a rate cut in November. That's good. 70, almost 2% of one in December. That's still good. January is probably getting wishy-washy. Yeah, it's about the same. No real updates on this data yet. Nothing too interesting, at least. -8 here, Daniel, in the same boat. Only down 9% on CleanSpark. You guys are down on CleanSpark, huh? That sucks. Sorry to hear it, man. I'm up 47% on CleanSpark this go around. But hoping to be up a lot more. Hood is doing good too, up 155% on Hood for this go around. This is like my third attempt at Hood. I've made so much money off of Hood. And again, PayPal down today, still about down 30% on those options. If you guys were interested in getting into the PayPal trade, today would be the day to do it on those options contracts because they're down 30%, which is a nice multiplier. Ethereum is too young to require all these layer 2s. The main net should be doing many of these tasks. Yeah, I don't like the complexity of layer 1 on Ethereum. Agreed. I think that's why Solana is so much more interesting and enticing right now. I didn't get mine. I'm waiting on my Hood credit card. I've got the gold one too. Like the gold one I should be getting because I had a bunch of referrals. I had over 10. But I think they slowed down on their rollout. I think they want to just make sure that they're doing a good job issuing debt. Credit cards are a much more dangerous game. So you don't want to screw that up. You know what I mean? You got the fake gold one? Says JT. So presuming maybe 5 more years till I get it. Groove It, what's up with CLSK? It was up 5% and it's barely green now. I don't know. The sky must be falling. Didn't it go up a lot yesterday? I feel like it was a leader yesterday. You guys have to realize this. Please to God, realize this. There are laggards and there are outperformers. They all take turns. Everybody was shitting on Bitfarms last week. What did I do? I bought it. And it's been doing better and outperforming. I bought Iron. Iron crushed it yesterday. Iron was up that was like one of the biggest, baddest miners out there. How much is it up today? A lot less? A lot less? Yeah, it could be negative. I don't even know. Let's look here. Let's look just at miners. Just realize if you're looking for logic in miners and you expect them all to go, like your miner to go up every day, you are not doing this right. My PayPal calls are January 2026 95 strike, but make sure you watch the video. Understand calls, guys. So Bitfarms is up 5% now. Hut's only up 3. Riot's up 3. BitDigital's up 2.5. CleanSpark's up 1.5. Iron's negative. So is Wolf. But these two were up more than double digits yesterday. So just don't focus on the daily on these. Please to God. Use common sense instead. Focus on longer time frames, okay? If you focus on longer time frames and realize that they all go up, every one of them will go up unless they fail, right? That's the only thing. And the failures usually happen in the bear market. If we look at all these miners here, they take turns leading, okay? Right now, it's Wolf and MicroStrategy. But if you go back, you can see where right over here, Iron was the big play. Iron just shot up through the roof, right? And then if you go back even further, you can see that CleanSpark was the big play. Right? They all take turns. Over here, again, Wolf was the big play. MicroStrategy was the big play. If you change the time frame to 5 years, MicroStrategy is still the big play. Mara is number 2. BitDigital is number 3. Bitcoin is number 4. Riot is number 5. CleanSpark's way down near the bottom. So is Hut, Wolf. Wolf up 16% in 5 years. They all take turns. Please to God, learn this. SoFi is kind of recovering. Yeah, everything is. Like I said, I think the market is recovering. Yeah, the Iron was up like 18% yesterday, and CleanSpark was up double digits too. CleanSpark is still up 2.31% today. So just again, just don't focus on just like the day. And then people will go, what's the news on CleanSpark today? Why is it down? Who fucking cares? They all go up. It's up to you, Alan. I do think that MicroStrategy is eventually going to have to take some profits and sell some stock. It's just what he does. It's what Saylor does. And we're in that 3 range, which hasn't spent a lot of time in that 3 range for the last several years. He might let it sit there longer, though, because Bitcoin looks like it's going to break out, right? That's a positive thing. I'm going to stick around for 15 more minutes, and then I'm going to bounce. PayPal should have beat that rev. Yeah, but does it really matter? I don't know. I'm not worried about it. People want 10% every day. That's true. It just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. You just have to be okay with things taking turns and not being up every day in the markets. It's unrealistic. So today, NASDAQ is actually up 0.21%, so it's looking good. Let's see how the Russell is up down 0.67, so it's getting better too. And the S&P is almost flat. So the market's actually recovering pretty good today. Yeah, you have to have down days. Now I'm down over 200. Well, no, not 200,000. Probably like 180 today, but almost all because of PayPal. So that sucks. I don't love that, but it's not the end of the world. I'm still near all-time highs in my account. I don't care. CleanSpark up only 50% in a week. What the hell? I know, chicken bro. What is CleanSpark's problem? How dare it do this to us? Oh. Let's see what these yahoos are talking about over here. We'll refresh. Oh, and I saw them say something real quickly about PayPal, so I want to go back. It's probably like just shitting on it, because that's what they do. Let me keep going back here. Treasury yields higher. I mean, that might be interesting. I don't know how insightful they are. But you know what, Jim? Jim was actually pretty good on China today. Let's give him a chance.
You'd be surprised. There are stocks that are opening down big, like at McDonald's, opening down 7. Then it's up 5. The first trade has not been the right trade in this conference call.
PayPal opens down 7%.
Well, that's another one that I thought was just fine.
Okay, so they're going to talk about PayPal too. Diego, yeah, PayPal didn't beat on revenue. I think their call went really well. They were down 14% from the high in pre-market. Then they were back to neutral. Then the markets kind of went down a little bit because people were pessimistic. The latest round of data looks pretty good. We've got more data coming in 14 minutes. We'll see if that looks good too. Market appears to be recovering. That's what you missed. And am I buying more? I bought $25,000 in calls, or 24 or something like that. Yeah.
You did think it was fine?
Yes, I did. I thought Alex Chris did a good job.
You did. Net revenue's up 6%. Transaction margin dollars.
Yeah, you know, it is weird. Yesterday I hit 3.7 million. And on my account, it's the highest amount I've ever had. And I still think by the end of this week, there's potential of hitting 4 million on my account, which is nuts. I remember the first time I got I was making less income, but I made $47,000 in a day, and that was like my salary. And it just blew my mind, and I felt so rich. Yesterday, I made like $120,000, and I was bored. So. It's weird. It's weird what happens. It's weird what happens. Ford disappoints. I love that. I love to see Ford just fucking die. That's what you guys get. Even though I gotta say, the CEO of Ford is a much cooler guy. At least he got it a little too late, but at least he gets what's happening in the EV sector. It's just they're done. They're bankrupt. Maybe I'm just better at controlling my emotions since watching your show. That could happen too. You just get used to it. Like, again, I could be really down today. I lost $200,000 in PayPal alone. A little over on PayPal, but the others are making up for it. CleanSpark's up 28 today. Bitfarms is up 10. Mara's up 6,000 in this account. Hood's up 1640. So really it's Tesla and PayPal that are dragging down the account today. But I can't complain about Tesla. I already cashed out over $600,000 on it. And I've got another $470,000 just in my main account in gains. So if you're going to, I can't whine about $500,000 in gains in my main account on Tesla on a day when it's down. You know what I mean? After being SoFi since IPO, I'm numb to any and all volatility. Yeah, I hear it. Since IPO, that's legit. Workness, Ford is going full EV in Brazil. They're fucking nuts. Their sales here will go from little to none. Yeah, Ford is just a mess. They're just a mess of a stock. They're such a mess. Let's listen to what these guys have to say about PayPal, though. And then we got more data in 12 minutes.
Increased 8% to 3.7 billion.
The stock was very hot coming into the quarter.
It was hot. It was up 30. It's up about 31 or so percent for the last 3 months.
Look, I'm saying that.
I responded to that earlier, Mr. Casper. Jolt's job openings, I think, was fine data. Consumer confidence was exceptional. Job quits was fine. I do think job openings, though, will hopefully start to stabilize where they're at and not go much lower. Because that could be foreshadowing things to come, along with temporary employment and stuff like that. If temporary employment opportunities go away within that jobs data, which I think is kind of what's happening, you'll see more of that. But I'm not worried about jobs so much because we have seasonality on our backs right now with Q4 coming up. But the data was good, and I think that's why markets started to recover. Also, we have China talking about $1.4 trillion in liquidity in the next several years. That will do nothing to help them, but it's great for the markets and global liquidity. Jesse, CleanSpark. I think I might hold all until the new year to avoid taxes that I can scale out of and roll into Tesla for even more gains. thoughts? Would love to end the year around 30. Oh, I think CleanSpark can do that. I think CleanSpark can more than double from here between now and the end of the year. I think CleanSpark, like, just to put it this way, guys, between now and like spring sometime, I think CleanSpark is at least going to 25 to 30. At least. I think 30. And I think it could go to 41. If that's saying anything. So I personally, I mean, I don't think that's a bad deal, but you know me, I'm a high school dropout and not a financial advisor, so you got that. Let's listen to their PayPal take, though.
There's a severe overreaction. Royal Caribbean was down 11 when they reported, down 11 in the pre-market. Now it's up 3. There is just a moronic first trade moment here.
There's Royal Caribbean coming back.
I mean, you can't say, oh, look at that. That company's doing really poorly. The stock's down. Because what happens is that that's instant analysis that makes no sense. I thought McDonald's did a good job. It wasn't a great job. But it was up 6 yesterday, and it went,
Well, to your point, Pfizer shares are now down 1%. They had looked up 1%.
Because that was Paxlovid.
And then
you do with Alice Chris.
It's interesting. You can list all the reasons.
What am I, Dom? Then when I go back with Jeff Mark,
$1 billion. Guys,
it's a remarkable.
The other chart.
Wait.
Just going live. CLSK getting whacked. Great. Awesome. Glad to hear it. To be clear, guys, I don't even care about like minor performance at all. It means nothing to me. PayPal, I'm down 68%. Sorry, Dario. I'm down, if it makes you feel better. Well, I'm down 24, 23. PayPal is already, those option contracts, the 2026s are already getting better. They're only down 25%. I don't know if PayPal's coming back. Let's take a look over here. We do have data coming out in 8 minutes. CleanSpark getting whacked is down 1%. 1.5% is getting whacked. Come on, guys. SoFi still down 7% and getting better. PayPal down 6%. So, like I said, the data was good today, so far. We'll see what the Dallas. I think the Dallas data is going to be good too, guys. I mean, it's Dallas, it's Texas. If there's any region of this country that's doing better, it is Texas. I care about minor performance. Yeah, I care. I don't even honestly care about miners. I care about Bitcoin performance. The miners are just going along for the ride. So it's like the thing, like I focus on the underlying commodity almost all the time. The only reason I'll focus on the miners is because they might really drastically outperform Bitcoin and I might think it's too much. And so then I'll sell some of it. And I think that this is a great place for Bitcoin to take a pause too before it goes higher. I don't know if we need to break out in Bitcoin before the election. Yeah, George, you don't want stop losses. Stop losses wreck you. Because just think about that with PayPal. You have a stop loss in that, you exit at a shitty price because of the volatility, and then it starts going back up. Like the options I bought were down 30%, now they're down 25%. So they've already made like 6% back. So again, it's one of those things where you could get screwed pretty easily if you have stop losses. I hate them. I don't use them for anything. The only reason you would have a stop loss is just to exit a position if you're not going to be paying any attention to it. And even then, you're probably going to get screwed. I just think they're garbage. Only thing holding us back, the 10-year yield. But it's so toppy right now. It's getting ready to roll over. Oppenheimer analyst talking about Google. I do not care what they have to say about Google. Stupid boring. But yeah, consumer confidence, guys, that is a crazy set of data. That is just a nuts set of data. I don't think I can actually get into it here. I got to figure out where I can get consumer confidence, actual detailed reporting. The EU is nervous about Trump. They better be. They should be. You start censoring sites like X during an election because they're going to interview Trump, and you better be concerned when he becomes president. They're going to get their asses handed to them. Only the shitty ones, though. Only the shitty countries. And it'll be good for them to get their asses handed to them. Again, what we care about next, guys, Dallas Fed services, the index and the revenues. We've been in the red for a long time, and now we're looking to see that pick up. It would be nice to see an outperformance. We got that in September's read. We were set up for -4. We got -0.26. It'd be awesome to get a positive number. Yeah, Canada. What is it? Poilievre or whatever his name is. I don't even know how to pronounce it. He's going to crush that election. If Trump wins, he wins. There's just going to be no way for them to steal it because we'll crush them. We'll crush Canada until Trudeau has to yield. We'll make him go away. That way think about it. Javier Milei, Poilievre, Donald Trump, Bukele. It's going to be like we're going to have North and South America are going to be lit. Markets acting. What are they acting like? Like they're going to go up? They're acting like they're going to go up? He's so bad. He's so bad. He's just such a piece of shit. I used to like him because I was an idiot. But he's just a horrible person. He's such a hypocrite. He's like Leonardo DiCaprio telling you about how you need to save the environment as he hops on his private jets and hops in his yachts and Lambos, banging a bunch of 18-year-old girls. And it's like, is this the guy I should be listening to? The dollar? Sure. We can look at the dollar. Ooh, the dollar's fallen. Ha, we like that. We like the dollar falling. I should just move this over again. So that's good. So it is kind of doing what I was talking about. Want to see that. All right, so Bitfarm's still leading. Looks like MicroStrategy's... Oh, I sold my MicroStrategy. Ooh, and it's getting crushed a little bit. Oh, I'm so glad I sold my MSTU. It was up pretty good today, too. Use that to buy PayPal. We'll see if that's the right decision. I think it will be. Let's see here. What else is doing all right today? Mara, MSTR is only up 0.7. I could see Sailor selling. Market's kind of like wishy-washy today. It's getting a little better. Baba's down. Good. Fuck Baba. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Thanks for all you do, Jesse. Your confidence and consistency message are super helpful. Please get up. I will. I don't change. I don't think you should change your overall thesis. Either that or you didn't have a good one, right? If you get like a data point or two that go against you, and you completely change your thesis from like one data point to the other, you're emotionally reacting to the environment around you, right? Because you're letting the data decide from point to point what your thesis is, and that means you don't really have one, right? And you don't want that. You got to have a real thesis. Crypto total 3 about to break out. You know, that's a metric I never track. We really should, though. I think I have it. Let me just see. Let me see. Total. Do I have total? Yeah, okay. Let's pull it up. Ooh, you're right. It's looking good. Looking real good up in here. Looking real good. I actually, to get a better reflection here, what I should be doing is going here. Well, that's not the best, though, because it's not going to give me a lot of runway. Let's do this. We will move it over to here. I could have actually kept that time frame, but we'll do this. And then back up to here. This will give us our shorter time frame. All right, so you're right. It was grinding there, finding support. And now it's actually what it's looking to do is get to 688 and then jump back up. So the altcoins have just been getting fucked, but they're getting ready to change. I think they're getting ready to take out or really take off. And if you look at this, man, they got a ways to go. Just look at this. We got 30 seconds on the next round of data, so we'll pull that up. But look at this. Just to get back to where it was in the recent high on the total market cap, it is a 23.7% move higher. So there's a lot of room. And this thing really takes off, I mean, if altcoins are up 36, or if the total's up 36%, you're going to see some crazy numbers. Yeah, Doge outperforming is a good signal. I agree. Here, let's go back to economic data real quick, guys. Because we got it coming out. Let's go to Rick, too. See what Rick has to say. Why is SoFi down? Because they had an excellent quarter. And when you have great quarters, your stock goes down. That's how it works, Paul. I mean, they did have a good quarter from the looks of it. I couldn't find anything wrong with it, but I also didn't look too close. We were focused on PayPal today, which did not do well either, but is outperforming SoFi. It's kind of funny. There was a problem connecting to the server. Well, fuck you. 1 second. There we go. Now we're on break. So they're not on the data yet. Maybe I will be. So Dallas Fed, 2% beat forecast of negative 0.25. Dallas Fed Services revenue, 9.2, slightly lower. We're going to pause for Rick here real quick so I can do my analysis first. But the Dallas Fed Services Index is in positive territory for the first time since this is the highest read we've had since May of 2022, April of 2022. So this is great. This shows a trend where we bottomed in January, early January, end of 2022, and we're trending up. Love that, love that, love that. Let's go over here real quick and look at the Fed Services Index. So again, this is showing strength. This is a trend upwards. I don't hate this at all. It might have been 9.2 with a forecast of 10, but man, it's a good number. Barely a retrace. All in all, very strong. PayPal calls bleeding. Yep, they were down 30%. Now they're down 27 something. I bought some more today, 25K worth. Let's listen to Rick, though, talk about this data and see if he has anything as far as revisions to talk about.
Welcome back. I'm Silvana Hanau with your CNBC News update. Donald Trump ally Steve Bannon is out of federal prison. He was released this morning after serving a 4-month sentence for a contempt of Congress conviction. A jury found him guilty in July 2022 of refusing to comply with subpoenas from the House committee investigating.
I will say this, Steve Bannon does not look like he hit the gym.
The January 6th riot at the Capitol. Hezbollah announced its new leader today following the Israeli assassination of...
Can you guys tell me, is this the 4th or 5th leader in the last 4 months? I just can't keep track, but he's a brave motherfucker. He's going to be dead soon.
Hassan Nasrallah last month. The Iran-backed militant group named Naim Qassem its new Secretary General today as Israel presses on with its air...
Headline later this afternoon, new head of Hezbollah killed in bombing.
And ground offensive in Lebanon. The country's health ministry says Israel killed 60 people Monday in strikes. And Adidas announced today it reached a settlement with Ye, that's the rapper formerly known as Kanye West, to end all legal proceedings between them. The two sides have...
Where is our economic data?
Hi,
why aren't you guys
good
talking
to see you,
about
Carl. This was not a typical panel. 12 around the world, around a table. It was meant to be like a boardroom, and it really highlighted that here in Riyadh, this is the financial epicenter of the world for this week.
All right,
and just how much enthusiasm and demand there is for Saudi Arabia.
Doesn't she look great? How is she not aged over the years?
Yeah, its transition and investing.
She's doing some of that vampire shit where like she does blood transfusions or something.
in its companies and in the infrastructure. Got a chance to speak with a number of U.S. bank CEOs, including Jane Fraser of Citigroup, about what they see in the global economy right now and how it's increasingly looking lopsided and fragmented into where the growth is. A lot of optimism and bullishness on the U.S. Here's what she said about what she sees from the U.S. consumer right now.
Oh, interesting.
In the US, let's look at the consumer. The consumer is broadly healthy, a tad more discerning than before, and their spending is still growing. But a lot of that is being driven by the affluent consumer. The middle income consumer is probably a bit more mindful about where they're spending.
If it's fillers and Botox, she's doing it right, because every time I see anybody that does something like that, they look horrendous.
And then the lower income is where we've seen some of the inflation pressures really biting in as wage growth hasn't quite kept up.
She's pretty close.
Harvey Schwartz, the CEO of Carlyle, was quick to give
I can't believe they're not even talking about the Dallas Fed data. That was great data.
credit to the Federal Reserve and other central bankers for managing us through the inflation spike and coming out seemingly in a strong place, at least in the U.S. economy. I asked the entire group to raise their hand for the number of rate cuts that they forecast for the rest of the year. Nearly everyone raised
50.
their hand for one rate cut by the end of the year, and
50.
not two. Nobody raised their hand for two rate cuts, which is what the market expects
50.
at this point. So I asked David Solomon, the CEO of Goldman Sachs, what he thinks will happen in 2025 with the Fed. Here's what he said.
I think it's hard to think about monetary policy in 2025 in the United States until you get through the election and we get a clearer sense of policy actions, because policy will shape monetary policy. I listened to the earlier panel, and one of the comments that I agreed with is that structurally inflation is more embedded in the global economy than the current narrative. That doesn't mean that it's going to rear its head in a particularly ugly way, but I do think there's the potential, depending on policy actions that are taken, that it can be more of a headwind than the current market consensus.
No, I disagree. I don't think it will be. It's going to be higher. The base rate's going to be higher, but we don't have to worry about inflation. China's going to be exporting deflation for a very long time as they continue to fall apart.
The election is clearly a wild card for bankers, business leaders, here, government officials all over the world. And when I asked the panel how it would influence their business, the markets, Apollo's Mark Rowan said it will make a pretty big difference. Listen.
I think there's an absolute chill on M&A activity as a result of current policy. And I think you'll see it freed up if there's a change in regime.
That means getting rid of that biatch Kamala and getting some real Donald Trump up in here.
I think you'll see investment liberalization if there's a change in government. But remember,
if Trump wins.
If Trump wins. But we're all talking about in the U.S. of shades of good. We really are talking about shades of good. And to come back to your point on rates, we massively increase rates, and yet stock market at a record high, no unemployment, capital market issuance at will.
Yeah, but you can have the metrics in the area you want them and still have bad things coming depending upon whether or not it's sustainable. Musk, 10 to 20% chance AI goes bad. Oh.
And we're stimulating the economy. I'm trying to remember why we're cutting rates, other than to try and equalize the bottom quartile.
Inflation's come down.
Why are we cutting rates? I don't know. For people that can't afford houses, for the bottom 40% of America that don't own assets and are being crushed, absolutely crushed right now by their auto loans, their home loans, and everything being more expensive. Do we not give a shit about these people? I hate people like this, these rich pricks. I hate them. I hate them. Yeah, he's just an asshole, man. He literally, like, why are we doing this, guys? All my assets are up. Fucking, this just goes to show you could be a rich and powerful person and be a complete moron who gets invited to a conference with a bunch of other rich and powerful people, but does not know what they're talking about, okay? This guy in his basement knows more than that guy does. Marijan Vander Kloot, that's a cool name. Gee, maybe because federal interest payments exceed the deficit. Yeah, right? There's so many reasons why it's bad, right? We want interest on our debt to go down. We don't want to strangle markets. We want to be the strongest economy on earth. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go to that place. I never like corporate meetings. That's like the worst version of it. There's no way. I'll stay in my basement, bro. Plus, I need to get a new house this next year anyway. We're going to have some fun with that. I'm going to get an indoor pool, guys. I can't show you what I'm getting, but it's so nice. Maybe I can just show you, like, if I can. If I can't get it, let me just find it real quick here. Sure. It's such a pretty house. It's got some work to be done, but the pool is so nice. It's got an indoor pool. I want it so bad. Let me see if I can find this thing. No, I want to buy a house. I don't want to give away too much about that house, but I want to buy a house. I can show you maybe a picture if I can get it. Let me change this real quick. I'll change it to price because the price is over 2 million. So that should make it to where it's easier to find. How do I get out of this? Yes. Let me see here. 2 million, 2 million, 2 million. Ah, there it is. Yes. This guy's trying to do seller financing. I won't show you the whole thing. I'll show you like, what am I showing right now on my screen? Let me see something real quick here. Oh, that should be good. Let me bring this over real quick. Let me see, will that hide that? One sec, I just need to adjust something real quick. I need to do one thing here real quick. And then I will show you, because I want to show you, but I need to do a thing. It's so pretty. I love it so much. All right, let me see screen. Let me unlock that. I'm gonna chop off the top real quick here so that I don't show too much. Top. Let's see. 2. Yeah, that'll work. That's too much. 1. There we go. That'll work. All right, so I'm going to leave that for now, and then I'm just going to drag this over. Let me see. I got to make sure they don't have anything too crazy. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay. Here we go. All right, here's the house I kind of like right now, guys. This is the one I want. Let me see how this is showing on your screen. Yeah, okay, that's good. So this is the house. It's a little over 2 million. It needs some work. That's the front door. That's the entryway and some other stuff. That's the kitchen. There's the indoor pool. It's got a bunch of views around it. I love it. Again, you can see the pool from all vantages. And I don't like the bedroom at all. There's a bunch of stuff I want to renovate. I don't like the tile. I don't like this master suite. I don't like that at all. I'd want to gut it. But the pool I love. And I change colors and other stuff. Basement's cool. 6 acres. It's off a golf. It's got a golf course. It's got a couple $1 million houses next to it. And then it's got a creek. It's got multiple garages. It's just beautiful. Anyway, that's the house I want. So if it works out, I'm going to buy that house in the not too distant future. That's the goal. Let me change this real quick. But yeah, I really want an indoor pool. I live in the Midwest, so it gets that would probably be $50 million in California. So that house is 11,000 square feet. It's got 6 or 7 stall garage. It's 6 acres. It's got a creek off of it. It's got 2 multi-million-dollar homes off to the side of it, and then a golf course on the other side, heavily treed. It's got an indoor pool. It's amazing. It's got a winery room. It's just sick. I want it so bad. It hasn't sold for 2 years. It's a lot of money here in the Midwest for a house like that, but I want to buy it, and then I probably want to put like $1 million into it and renovate it. It could be $100 million in California. Yeah, dude, it's a crazy number. If you're in the right area of California, it would be a fortune. Bitcoin is almost at 72 again, guys. Almost at 72. But yeah, that's my baby right there. That's the house I want if I can get it. That's what I want, because I want my daughter to be able to like have friends over and go swimming. It's got a hot tub in the pool area, and then we could add on to that pool area and make like an atrium for my wife for her plants, and we could just have like this really cool indoor space where it's warm and beautiful in the winter while we're watching it snow outside. That way I don't have to make so many trips to Central America and down south, and in order to get warm during the winter. Wait till you see the tax bill. Oh, it's not bad. It's not bad. I plan on having $20 to $30 million in the next year and a half, 2 years. So if I hit that number, that house is nothing. Yeah, I'll be streaming from the hot tub. Hell yeah. I like that idea. All right, so again, we're looking to break out on Bitcoin. I think we're gonna do it, guys. I'm really getting excited about how things are sitting here. I think the data looks good. Let me go back real quick and see what other. Do we have anything else? That was it today. Dallas Fed. So tomorrow we get mortgage related data. We get ADP employment. We get ADP actually earnings data this afternoon, which is going to be interesting. We get GDP growth rates tomorrow. We get core PCE prices. We get PCE prices. We get consumer spending. We get Treasury refunding announcements. We get pending home sales. Tomorrow's a pretty big day for data. There's a decent chunk coming in tomorrow, which I'm excited about. And then Thursday and Friday are always big days, but it's gonna get a lot less boring for economic data. We got a lot of stuff coming in this week, guys. But I'm feeling pretty good. I think the data we got today wasn't bad at all. So I think more good things to happen as the week progresses. We'll see what happens. But again, I think employment related data between now and the end of the year looks pretty positive. It's really Q1 of next year where we should get more worried about employment related data. And hopefully Donald Trump is the president by then, and then we can have some negative data, but people can look past it because they're like, hey, we're actually going to balance our budget. We're going to be pro-growth. So then bad data can actually be seen as not that bad of data. I think that's a very real possibility. Jesse's streamy. I'll be like hopping in. I'll be like, I'll be in the sauna, and then I'll be in the hot tub, and then I'll jump into the pool, and then we'll be like covering the market open at the same time. It'll be great. 1 week from elections. It is so close. Yeah, dude, I want this house. There's a number of houses I've looked at, but like that one, the indoor pool, and plus my wife is like an avid reader. I listen to audiobooks, but she loves reading, and she could fill up that library pretty good with just the stuff she's read. So I think, and how cool would it be to have like a library? I got to fix the place up and make it nicer. Like it's really plain looking on the outside. Needs a bunch of paint and work. But when you got an indoor pool and you can see the kids from the kitchen, like, I don't know. I feel like that's pretty sweet. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. I think we're going to get a breakout in Bitcoin. So good times ahead. But I'm going to bail, I think. And I want to find a good tune here. I did like this one from yesterday, Wind Moon. We're going to go back and play that one out, I think, for our close. So I will see you guys later on. Yep, Andy, we're really close to Trump being at 69.42% in Polymarket. We'll see if he can hit that, but getting real close, real close. Going to need Optimus Butler for that property. I might need a few Optimuses. I'll need like a gardener Optimus. I'll need an Optimus that cleans and does laundry. We'll need a cooking Optimus. I don't know. Maybe that's just like 2 Optimuses. But wouldn't that be great just to have them do all the work and I just live in the house and do streams on YouTube? I feel like that's an okay life. I wouldn't be upset with it. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you probably at 2:30 for the market recap. If it's interesting, if it's not, and it's a boring day, I might pass on it. We'll see. But lots going on. Tomorrow, let's see, what is it? Thursday Thursday, I think, is Amazon earnings. I'm going to try and balance that with going out trick-or-treating with the kid. So we'll try and figure that out too. But if nothing else, guys, tomorrow, Robinhood earnings in the afternoon should be a great time. Love you guys, and talk to you later. But I got to say, Win Moon seems a little right now. So see you guys on the other side. Peace.
Coming in hard. Whoa, no seatbelts. Whoa.
Little bubble, let me ride that rocket.
All around me are my heavy shit coins. No more Bitcoin, no more Bitcoin. Spent it all on Tron, I have weak hands now. Where's my Lambo? Where's my Lambo? And I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The Ponzi's I've been buying are the worst that ever crashed. I find it hard to sell them, I find them hard to hold. I joined the Telegram to ask the question, tell me when moon, when moon, when moon, when moon. My name is Lil Bubble. Enchanté. I just hopped in my rocket and flew a long, long way. Your boy is just a meme, a little space man. But this stage is so far away from my base. Damn, that's okay, cause today we'll blast away. S'il vous plaît, excuse my French, but I'm in France. Yeah, I'm just saying. Look up, see all these planets flying past me. And everywhere I go, the people wanna ask me when moon, when moon, when moon, when moon.
Little bubble, let me ride that rocket.